talking about. Is she filing for custody and visitation of Santos? And we'll recap them. Amanda, good. These came out yesterday. Yeah. Yeah. Look at something really fast. Nice. Okay. I will post that video up on my YT. Tiffany, you watched for 300 minutes. Thank you. I will post that video up on my YT, but it's very long. Because I doubt it. Because these came out yesterday and today being a holiday. If you did, we won't get it till tomorrow. Anyways, the YT video I will put up, but again, it's very long because we brought in everybody's New Year, including Newfoundland. We started there. They have a different time zone. It was great. And so I will put a video. I'll redo a video. Not yet. It's still uploading on my phone. It was almost 6 hours. It's a lot. I'm gonna squeeze it down, but I'm going to redo it to where it'll be just the court docs. You guys won't get all of the other stuff, so it won't be as long for you guys. If you guys want to watch it, listen. You like it, I love it. I'm here for it. Okay, can I get an amen? But I will shrink it down. And on here, I'll do when 2K put out his request. She has like 21 requests. I'll break it down like that. I'll do videos. They're smaller, so I'll probably be able to get a couple in. And so I'll do videos of that today, and those will be released over the next couple days. Yeah, I saw that too, Jade. I had to yeah. I have a hard time watching stuff like that. Yes, it will be on YT today. It will be on YT today. As soon as I get off live, it should be done filming. I don't know if it paused in the middle of the night. I have no idea. I stayed up till almost 3 trying to get it up for you guys, but of course. Did Brie do her... No, she didn't. And you know what's funny is, and we'll get into it once everyone's here, but literally in the documents that she put out, her attorney did, but that she put up, she states multiple times she did the high conflict co-parenting class. Does she not know there's a difference between parenting and co-parenting? Listen, they were watching my live the whole night. They were in here. They know. They know. They was in here. Threats and all, as per usual. Yeah, co-parenting and parenting are 2 totally different things, okay? So this is the video that Santos sent me of Brie watching me last night, because I kept calling him out for all the threats that he was making. A few, not all. If you make, because I was saying Happy New Year's to people and what I wanted in my, in my new year, and he said, if you make it. No, that's not true. His was put in a long ass time ago. He did his way before she even did hers. And that was provided a long time ago. Yeah, there was it's been every day. They have been in here every single day threatening me. He exited stage left real quick when I said my kids were coming, because they came down right after it hit midnight here. They all came and joined. If you guys were here for that, if you left, I'm sorry. It was the cutest thing. 3 of my kids and grandkids, and 2 of my kid-in-laws were here, and 2 of my grandkids came down. Yeah, of course. Tanya, well, thank you for coming out of the bushes. I love it when the silent watchers come out of the bushes, say hello. Hello and Happy New Year's, love. Yeah, absolutely. Whatever. That's what it is. It's empty threats. But I find it absolutely fascinating, right? That he's trying to say that he's going to get 2K blacklisted because 2K made the statements that he made. Thank you, Miss Rhonda. The statements that he made about his daughter. And that was just absolutely appalling and horrible and terrible. And he's going to be blacklisted because how could he ever do that? But literally the last 4 days, he has been in my life every single day the last 4 days making threats. I have screenshots of all of them. Yeah, he's threatened, listen, Sip just said he threatened her children. He threatened Shelbs and Chris Different. So 2 can play the game. Boston, welcome in, everybody. Yeah, always home, absolutely. And that's why he sent me the video of her actually being the one watching it. Now, that doesn't mean that he wasn't doing it as well. I have no idea. I know it's both of them. But she's using his account, just like they were using somebody else's Airbnb account and got that banned. So yeah, shit's getting crazy. Oh, I know. Oh, Christina. Oh, I'm here for it. Who just said that? Basket Lover, you are 100% correct. That is the best way to say it. Her documents are embarrassing. AA Law Talk said the same thing last night when she was in here. If you guys don't know, if you're newer here, AA Law Talk is a practicing family law attorney in California. Happy New Year, love. And she said the same thing as I was reading. She's like, this is actually extremely embarrassing. Because again, like I said in my video, if you guys came here for my video, it literally looks and sounds as if she's requesting visitation and custody of Santos. Baby W is, he has like an honorable mention here and there, but for the most part, it literally looks like she's requesting visitation of Santos. So confused. Yeah, she still has her lawyer. We would know if she doesn't because it would be filed. I don't even know if the judge is even gonna... The hell? That big old fingerprint right in the middle of my glasses. If the judge is even gonna even look at these, to be honest with you. I mean, it's just 51 pages of hogwash. Do people even say that anymore? All right. Do you guys want me to do a quick recap of the things that she put in? Let me do a poll. I'm going to do a poll. Red yes, blue no. If you want me to do a recap of all of her requests. Red yes, blue no. Whatever the poll says, you guys run the page. I have no idea what's going on with my polls. I'll see at the end. It's like a mystery. It's like when someone does the mist and you don't see the coins on there until the end. Mine just still says 0, 0. It doesn't work on my side. So red yes, blue no. I won't dive in and go into like full detail like I did last night. I'll go over each one. I'll read each one, but I'm not gonna give my my points on everything, you know, like I did last night. Oh, and then we got to talk about how Red and Liv got arrested last night. I'm like, oh my god, did I jinx it? 8, 7, red yes, blue no. Do you want me to do all of them? Get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's a mystery. It's like opening a present. What am I gonna do? Oh, 167 yes, 15. Okay, so well, there we go. We're gonna be going over them. But if you guys remember, yeah, that's what I was talking about, Jane. Sorry. A week or so ago, I made a video and I said oh my god, it's such a tongue twister. 2 TikTokers in 2 days got arrested, one of them being Liv. And a lot of people thought I was talking about Red Liv. Now, I don't watch them at all. Like, they're another one that, like, never pops up. And so I didn't even think about it. So I made a video correcting myself, and boom, here she goes. She gets arrested. No, 2K, at least I haven't got anything, but it wouldn't show up yet. Anyways, I don't believe, because it's a holiday. Okay. Rhonda, welcome in, love. Welcome in. Happy New Year. Happy New Year's to everybody. If you guys are not already following, make sure you guys hit the follow button. I never say that. I always forget. Wait, what? I'm allowed to comment what I want. Okay. As long as it's respectful. Okay, just keep it respectful. No, Brie didn't get arrested. Yeah, don't spam the comments and keep it respectful. And as I'm reading this, I stay out of the comments because I can't do both. It would take me absolutely forever. So, keep it cute. That's all I ask. All right. So this is Brie's response or request, whatever. It's respondents' supplemental declaration, RE status conference hearing. And it was filed yesterday. Her request, this is what she is requesting from the judge. I respectfully request the court to A, make a finding that I overcame the Family Code 3044 presumption against John legal and physical soul. That is the DVRO. B, order joint legal custody. C, order visitation to me with W for 1 to 2 weeks in California. D, order John and I to split airfare with him paying for his flight to take W to California, and she will pay for the flight to return to Texas. W is under 2, so he's still free for like a few months. E, order exchanges to occur at LAPD or LASD location near the airport. F, make a finding that I completed my court-ordered parenting class. G, admonish John for continuing to harass and threaten Santos, his toddler daughter, and his mom online. There are several references throughout this pleading to the 8/27/25 DVR trial afternoon session transcript, i.e. when the orders were made. So as a reminder, that transcript was lodged and served in full on 10/21/25. This is what I'm talking about. This is how the whole thing is. That has nothing to do with John and Santos. And again, reminder, Santos is the one threatening absolutely everybody, including 2K, Chris Different, me, like everybody. So it's okay for him to do it, but nobody else. But the judge has no say over that. If Santos had a DVRO against John, then yeah, she could say something. Nothing. They can't say that. Or she can say it, but there's nothing they can do. Hey, Mesley. Of course, Principal. Listen, I know I was supposed to put a thing. I did not. Surprise. Happy New Year. I told you guys, whenever I can, for my East Coasters, I'm going to go live early as often as I can. Okay, so number 3, my pregnancy. I am due to give birth this summer. She's basically saying this because she knows the answer is going to come because the judge is expecting her to walk in. What is it? Oh, thank you guys. That scares me. I need to turn my phone down. The judge is expecting her, Jackie, the judge is expecting her to walk in on Tuesday and be 7 months pregnant. And she's not. So I think that's why she's responding. But anyways, she says, I am due to give birth this summer. After my boyfriend Santos and I initially started posting about our pregnancy online, I started to receive daily death threats in large numbers. When we started scaling back the level, the level of detail that we shared online following a trip to the ER due to bleeding, the daily threats and harassment became even worse. I understand that we are public figures online. However, the fact that random strangers became so upset when I refused to share every detail of such a personal piece of my life as if they are this information is mind-boggling to me. What's mind-boggling to me is, what does any of this have to do with what they have going on? Like, it has nothing to do with anything, with what is going on in court. Thus, we decided to remove most of our posts about our pregnancy, so we do not talk about it in any level of detail online anymore. We held a publicized gender reveal and announced we are having a baby boy, and we will announce when the baby is born. But most everything in between, we are choosing to keep private for our own safety. Even though right before I read this, she was online with Perez and showing her baby bump. I am fine having a chambers discussion with the court about details of my pregnancy in private, but I will not discuss this matter further in the pleadings nor in oral testimony in court out of fear of my continued threats online. I think she's confused that she gets to determine what she has to answer. The judge gets to determine if that's something that she will talk about in chambers or not. You don't get to make that decision and tell you. She's basically telling the judge, I don't care what you think or what you want to know. I'm not discussing it. You can talk to me in chambers and it'll be completely private. But again, it doesn't really matter, so I don't think the judge is really going to give two shits about it because it has nothing to do. Bam! Thank you. 200 minutes watch. Thank you. Number 4, it is difficult to travel to and from Texas for my visits with Winter, but it's very easy to travel to Paris and Hawaii and Miami or down in Florida, wherever it is that they go. Those are all easy for her, but Texas, oh, that's a stretch. That's a difficult one. Sorry, I said I was going to keep my comments to myself. So it's difficult to travel to and from Texas for my visits with W. Santos has been traveling with me to help me with my suitcases and getting my Airbnb set up. Then he will go stay with his local family and friends during my visits since he's not allowed to be at my visits. Let me turn my things off. Hold on. At my visits at this time. Let me read that one more time. Because at the very end, she signs this and says, all of this information is true and correct under penalty and perjury of law. So she says that he travels with her to help with her suitcases and getting the Airbnb set up, which now she's going to change that around here in just a second because he doesn't do that. Somebody else does, her assistant, right? And then he goes to stay with his local family and friends during the visit since he's not allowed to be around there. As I progress further in my pregnancy, it will become more difficult to be alone during my visits, having no one to help me with heavy lifting and other mundane tasks that become harder the bigger my belly gets. I also have to either rebuy or travel with all of W's essentials every time I go, which is expensive and difficult. Or I say rent an apartment out there. I said that and she responded in the comments and said, or I can just rent a storage. Well, then rent a storage so you don't have to buy this shit all the time. I don't know what to tell you. Number 5, I was in a local ER on 12/8/25 with severe nausea and vomiting for my pregnancy. I was given IV fluids and Zofran for uncontrollable vomiting. My nausea during this pregnancy has been really bad, keeping me in bed much of the day on some days. If I had been in Texas during that 12/8/25 episode, I would not been able to receive covered medical care as my health insurance only covers care in California. It has made me nervous each trip to Texas to know I'm so far away from my OBGYN in California in case of an emergency. But let me remind you guys, she was in the ER on 12/8 and she left the hospital and went straight to the airport and hopped on a plane to Paris. To Paris. That doesn't make you nervous. Traveling to Paris doesn't make you nervous. But going to Texas again, shit. I'm so nervous. And also on that, I want to say, let's switch the roles. Let's say you get visitation in California. She won't. But we're going to say, and God forbid, something happens with baby W and his medical insurance is in California. Or sorry, his medical insurance is in Dallas. Aren't you putting him in the same predicament that you say right here? But it's okay for him, but not you. That's not okay? Just curious. I have questions. I got questions, okay? Number 6. On 12/13/25, Santos proposed to me. So we are now engaged. That's what that means. It is really important for me. The order prohibiting Santos from being around my visitations with W is lifted. I want W to build a comfortable and healthy relationship with Santos. And it is important to both of us that W gets to be a part of special moments during my pregnancy, like the baby shower and the birth of his brother. We also want W to have a closer relationship with his brother, starting at his brother's birth. It's all about brother, right? As the court recalls, John forced me to spend W's first birthday in a visitation facility despite there being no court order for this. At the DVRO trial, it did not seem like the court was very appreciative of that position that John and his attorney took on this topic. I want both my boys to be able to enjoy special moments like these together and with me and my fiance in a normal setting surrounded by family. Despite all of the drama John and I have gone through, I want nothing more than for W and his brother to have happy, healthy, normal childhoods with their families. That's my question, Amy. What family? Because both Santos and Bree's families are in Texas. They're in Texas. So why would she want to have her visits in California? And if that's the case, if she truly wants her boys to be surrounded by family, I think that's fabulous. I think that's great. And I think it'd be great for both of them. But that means that they would need to be in Texas, not California. They don't have family. Neither one of them have family in California. What do I know? Okay, what do I know? Buckle up. We're only on page 3 of 51, okay? My supervised visitation in Texas. I have been exercising my unsupervised visits in Dallas, Texas area per the court orders made on 8/27/25. John and I have successfully met and conferred on the Our Family Wizards app about my visitation dates each month. Unfortunately, my visits in Texas have not felt safe or comfortable because of constant harassment I have faced in person and on the Airbnb platform. I only provide John with the address of my stays on Our Family Wizard in advance of each visit per the court orders. Somehow, each visit, random strangers have found out my location and stalked me at my Airbnbs. Most frequently, I will catch people I do not know lurking on sidewalks or in the street outside of my Airbnb. A few times, I've had strangers fake being deliveries, yet I didn't even order on DoorDash or any other services approaching the residence. If you guys remember correctly, the last couple times, she stayed at like an apartment or a condo. So everybody walking by, like people on the street or like the sidewalk, doesn't mean that they're there for you per se, right? The delivery drivers, if there was any, doesn't mean they're for you. Realize there's other people staying there, right? And again, what proof do you have of this? Do you have pictures? Why, if you were so concerned for your safety that you say you are, why was a police report not filed? Oh, that's right. Because if a police report was filed, they would then verify that who was there? Oh, that's right. Santos was there. Come on. You can't lie on this and then sign this is true under penalty and perjury of law. Like I said, how do I know W doesn't talk? He's 20 months. What do you mean? W does not make a coherent sentence at 20 months and say, if this is what you're referring to, I don't know what you're referring to. At 20 months to say, my dad has never changed my diapers and my mom and my grandma lock me in a room all day and I just cry. Yeah, I'm so confused. Yeah, he's a toddler. I mean, they say words. They say words. They don't say sentences. So again, I don't know how she's going to prove that one. And again, she doxes herself. Okay. Number 8. I have my assistant or other third parties book my Airbnbs for me in hopes of keeping my location private. No, you have them book it for you because you and Santos are both banned off of Airbnb. But nonetheless, during my December visit, the general public somehow found out who 2 of the people were that had made some of my reservations and repeatedly reported them to the Airbnb platform, resulting in their accounts being placed on hold status on the platform, which means they cannot make any reservations. I sadly watched the public efforts unfold online during my December visits. Several of John's main supporters came out and said they were encouraging mass reporting of these accounts on Airbnb to make my visits with W difficult. Again, there's no proof of any of that at all. And again, you doxed yourself. You guys did a video when you guys got there that had the name of the condo or apartment or whatever on there. I don't know. People are calling, I don't know. That's on them, right? Number 9, John and his attorney have not made my visits easy either. Just like John did in the first month of W's birth when he opened this case, then immediately filed a move-away RFO, an ex parte RFO, and a denied DVRO. Thank you, love. My visits since our trial have been interrupted by John's frivolous litigation. In September, I followed the orders and gave John my Airbnb address in advance of our visit via OFW. Ms. Budnick responded by emailing my attorney days later, demanding that I provide all sorts of details about my visit with W that I'm not required to provide per the court orders. And you guys, what she's talking about right here is the demandlet, like the request of demands that I had wrote from John. And that's all information he's requesting for her to have visits in California. That's what she's talking about. When pushed by my attorney to explain what part of the DVRO she was relying on to demand this information for me, she admitted these demands were coming from her, as she was worried about her professional obligation to her client. Ms. Fonseca advised her that if John was instructing her to create orders that do not exist based on a threat of responsibility or blame being placed on her for my actions, that sounded like a deeper attorney-client relationship issue between her and John that needed to discuss with her client privately. I can't see any of that happening. I can't see, if that did happen, I absolutely cannot see an attorney admitting that to another attorney. That would have a shit ton of consequences behind that. No. Her response was to say, I lost my spot. Here we go. Sorry. Her response was to say she would not continue this conversation. These emails are attached later in Exhibit D. Just 1 hour later, she served frivolous discovery demanding the same information. Number 10. In October, my attorney filed and served a notice of unavailability pleadings 10-17-25, pleading and POS attachment as Exhibit A, noting out of office dates from 10/10 to 10/19 due to family emergencies she had to fly to the Midwest to deal with. Despite the notice of sanctions in this pleadings for scheduling a proceeding during these dates, Ms. Budnick gave us ex parte notice via email on 10/15 and of her intentions to file an ex parte RFO on 10/17/25. The emergency orders she was seeking were that I not be allowed to talk to Santos on FaceTime with W when W is with me, and that I be prohibited from posting W on Santos and I joint family page. Not even 2 months after the exact type of order was denied by this court at the DVR trial, Ms. Budnick noticed an ex parte RFO to obtain the same order. A few days later, while I was with W at my visit in Texas, John filed the ex parte RFO and it was denied entirely. I had to spend time on my responsive declaration to this RFO instead of playing with W during my visit because of the actions of John's lawyer. Now, a couple things that I'll say on this one. 1, just because your attorney is out of town and has a family emergency, whatever the case may be going on with your attorney, doesn't mean that you can just do or act whatever and there not be consequences, right? Doesn't mean that the other party cannot file any motions, whatever, because I'm assuming that there would be another attorney that would pick that up or something would happen when she gets back, whatever the case may be. But life moves on, right? And then to say that you had to spend time on doing your responsive declaration instead of spending time with baby W. Isn't that also equivalent to the same thing of you being online instead of spending time with him? Just saying. Okay. In November, I wanted to take W to my mom's house for Thanksgiving in Corpus Christi, Texas, to spend time with my family there. Beginning in September via email with counsel and OFW with John, my lawyer, and I tried to meet and confer with John and Ms. Budnick about this multiple times, but repeatedly denied consent by John for me to take W to my mom's house. So the family ended up coming us to my Airbnb. And that's part of it. He has full custody. He gets that say. Consequences to your actions. You still got to be with your family. The judge is going to have absolutely no concern. What is she going to do? Throw a fucking pity party? No. And then you turn around the very next month and take him away, take him out of the area anyways. So you're biting yourself in the butt then. Number 12, my new home. When I got out of the MILF house, right after my visit with W in May, I only signed a 6-month lease on an apartment in West Hollywood. The DVRO trial had not occurred yet, so I was not sure what the future would look like, and thus did not want to commit to a longer lease. My lease from 5/5 to 11/19. Before my November visit with W, I moved all of my stuff into storage right before my lease was up. I wanted to take my time to find the perfect new rental, knowing I would be bringing the new baby home into it. How would she know that in November? She wasn't pregnant. Anyways, home in it, and I did not see the need to be paying on a rental that I would not be using for several weeks. Right after my November visit in Texas, Santos and I had a trip booked to Paris for our gender reveal, so I wanted to wait until after these 2 trips to house hunt. My new home is located in the Valley. She doesn't even have one yet, but anyways, located in the Valley. And this is all I will share about my location for publicity. It is a multi-bedroom and bathroom home with a yard. W will have his own room. If they're going for the house that they got, it's already been doxed. Not doxed. They already put it when they hired the fake TMZ to come out there. The address, you see him walking out of the house, and the address is right on the mailbox. It's already been found. It's already all over the internet. Number 13, co-parenting class completion. Now, this is an important one. I shared multiple times, with the court and John's counsel prior to the DVRO trial and to the conclusion of the trial when the order for a co-parenting class was made. I voluntarily completed a class prior to the DVRO trial. Before enrolling in this class on 4/30/25, I messaged John on OFW, invited him to take this class with me. He claimed he had already taken 1 month ago, but to date, my attorney and I do not have a completion certificate from him for any class, so I do not know if he took one prior to our trial. I think she had a different attorney at that time. That's probably where it went, but he turned it in. When the court ordered me to complete a class in the final minutes of our trial on 8/27/2025, the judge said she was going to order him to do one separately, transcript page 97, line 13-14, but to our knowledge, he has not done so. Despite his refusal to take a class with me, I enrolled in a high-conflict co-parenting class through Cornerstone Counseling Center, an approved provider at LASC's list. I had 12 one-hour classes with the owner of the facility, a licensed therapist, which was conducted one-on-one via Zoom. I had to take a test at the end of my class, and I finished the class on 6/20/25. I received a participation score of excellent, which was the best rating of 3 that I could receive. I filed and served my completion certificate on 7/3/25, and the certificate and POS are attached as Exhibit B. I also discussed all of this information in my pretrial supplemental declaration on 7/3/25, see pages, blah, blah. At the conclusion of our DVRO trial, the court made the order for me to complete this class within the final 2 to 3 minutes of our record time. My attorney tried to explain I had already done this, but we ran out of time to discuss this topic further. The court said that any class already completed may count towards this requirement, and I was not going to be ordered to do any more. You were court ordered to take a 12-week parenting class, not a co-parenting class. Hi, Brandy. And so, yes, you took your co-parenting class, which is great, but you also have to take your parenting class. And what does it matter if it was the last minute or the first minute? The response is going to be the same. There's a difference between a co-parenting class and a parenting class. Why is this blue? What happened? There we go. And now it's blue again. What the hell am I doing? Okay. Number 14. The court asked Ms. Budnick if she had any objection to the class I had taken, despite being served with the class completion certificate nearly 2 months prior. Plenty of time for counsel to subpoena the facility owner or ask me or my attorney about this class. Ms. Budnick replied, I don't know the details of the class, and I think if it doesn't meet what the court has in mind, I can make my objection. Facts. Based on these comments from the court and counsel, we tried to immediately meet and confer with Ms. Budnick about this to no avail. If she suddenly objects to, thank you guys, objects to the class I completed in our upcoming hearing, listen to this, a class she had knowledge of for nearly 6 months now. Thank you guys so much for the daily heart raise. Oh my gosh, we're about to hit 600. Why does this keep turning blue? It's driving me crazy. Okay, for 6 months now, we believe that conduct is to be in bad faith. Ms. Fonseca's 9/2/25 email to her about this attached Exhibit C. She explains to Ms. Budnick that she had spoken to the facility owner and confirmed the format of the class. She shared the LASC's approved list for providers. Illustrating this facility is one on the list, and asked if Ms. Budnick would be arguing that this class somehow did not comply with the court orders. It doesn't comply with the court orders because it's a co-parenting class, not a parenting class. Happy New Year's, love. The only response she received is, I will look into it. Thanks. On 9/17/2025, Ms. Fonseca brought up the class again in a meet and confer email about my September visit. My attorney pointed out we never received a substantial response to our 9/2/25 email about this, and reattached the email. Ms. Budnick replied, I am not sure about the parenting class. The course itself is probably fine, but there was a DVTRO violation the day she claims that she completed it. That I don't know what it is. What's she talking about? We do not know what she is referring to, as she did not elaborate. Furthermore, John never requested, and the court never made any findings that I violated the temporary DVRO. My attorney then expressed concern that Ms. Budnick was holding her objection for the last minute before the January hearing so that my visitation with W could not get moved to California. She asked Ms. Budnick for further explanation, and opposing counsel's only response to this email thread was, this is extremely unproductive. I'll address my issues with the court if necessary. I am not going to continue to engage in this back and forth with you. Proceed as you think. That's what it is. Proceed as you think you is appropriate. You guys, that was who was in here last night. That was the comment that I was trying to remember that didn't make any sense. Proceed as you think you is appropriate. Oh, proceed as you think is appropriate? Is that what you're trying to say? What page is this on? Y'all had me on the wrong page the whole time. Oh, no, it's page 7. Okay. Yeah, that don't make no dang sense. Hold on. I got to go out and come back in. Here we go. Sorry. Somehow I turned the whole page blue. That's what it is. Proceed as you think you is appropriate. and cohort is on the firth, okay? That's one thing with this attorney. She always gonna have some grammar and spelling errors and whatnot. But listen, I ain't mad at her. Well, keeps it funny, keeps it light, I guess. Now, let me finish this. Okay, attached is Exhibit D is the email thread. Ms. Budnick objects to my. Listen to this one. Ready? If Ms. Budnick objects to my class and rests her argument on her frivolous 1212 motion of compel, a motion she purposely filed minutes. Listen to this. I'm going to reread it again, but listen to this. The big-headedness of her is getting me. Okay, if Miss Budnick objects to my class, mind you, this is the co-parenting class, not the parenting class. She was court ordered to do a 12-week parenting class, okay? If Miss Budnick objects to my class and rests her argument on her frivolous 1212 motion to compel further response, and then it's in quotes, a motion she purposely filed minutes, underlined, before the publicized date and time of my gender reveal post. I'm sorry, do you think John's attorney is just sitting there knowing when the hell you're putting out? It's not like it was a scheduled live, like tomorrow I have a scheduled live, so people would know when the date and time I'm going to go live. It was a post that you put out. What do you mean? Who knew that? Nobody knew the date and time you were going to put that shit out. But nonetheless, in Breeze World, Breeze Land, everybody knows, so we'll continue. We believe her position has zero merit. During the meet and confer process on that set of discovery, my attorney explained to her in our 12/8/25 letter, emailed to counsel that day and attached as Exhibit E, that she had the completion certificate and name of the instructor/owner and facility since 7/3/25. We reminded Ms. Budnick we shared that information with her twice before she served RPDs on us on 9/17/2025. Ms. Fonseca said she did not know what else Ms. Budnick was looking for as the completion certificate is already given. Opposing counsel single replied to us before filing her discovery motion did not address this topic at all, and that email thread is Exhibit F. Now, I will say this. I do think that John's attorney could have said, that's a co-parenting class, not a parenting class. Is it her responsibility to say that? No. And that's not her position to help Bree. Could she said it? Absolutely. But I also think Bree's attorney should have thought and looked at that herself and said, high conflict co-parenting class. Oh, that's not a parenting class. Bree, you have to do the parenting class, not the co-parenting class. Right? So, there's that on that. Number 15. In sum, I completed a high... says right here, in sum, I completed a high conflict co-parenting class that met the court's requirement on 6/20/25, but it didn't meet the court's requirement because the court's requirement was 12 weeks of parenting class. Anyways, it was 12 lessons that were 1 hour each, which were conducted privately via Zoom with the facility's owner, a licensed therapist, and the facility is on the LASC's approved list of class providers. Per the court's direction at the conclusion of the DVR trial, since I completed my required class, I am asking the court to find that I overcame the presumptions against joint legal and fiscal custody in the 3044 for the reasons outlined in the next session. Number 16, at the conclusion of our trial, the court said, we're going to come back in 6 months because under 3044, there is a presumption against joint legal and physical, and you can overcome that presumption with certain things. So if you come back and show me your parenting class, the court may very well consider changing the presumption. They didn't put the whole thing in there. It actually states they may overcome that if you complete your 12 weeks of parenting class. not co-parenting, parenting class, there is a difference. If you have a residence in California and if there are no issues at all in any of your visits, so she had 4 visits since then, should have no issues with the visits, and she did. So you can't just pick and choose what you want to put in there. And again, it's a co-parenting class, not a parenting class. There's a difference. I completed May required class. Okay, I completed my required class voluntarily before the DVR trial ever started. I believe it would be in W's best interest for John and I to share joint legal custody and for me to be awarded more visitation time with W in California. Number 17. First, I have exercised all of my visits with W in Texas since our trial concluded. I did this despite all of the obstacles I have faced, which have included, hold on. I'll turn my request off. Okay. Where's that? Which have included, but not limited to, I have paid double the living expenses as if I'm maintaining residence in Texas and California for round trip airfare or Airbnb rentals, rideshare costs, and having to rebuy W's necessities each time I travel. John had to do the same thing, except for he actually did have to thank you, Jessica. He did have to maintain a house in Texas and in California. Again, this is consequences to your actions, right? John did it for 8 months. John put out all of his expenditures for all of that time. He actually had a house that he had to maintain in Texas, and he had to maintain a house not just for 1 week, but for the whole month. You guys have to know, was it 6 months or 8 months? The whole time, absolutely everything out here. Consequences to your actions. Let me see. And you wouldn't have to rebuy them again if you would rent a place out there, or like you said, just rent a storage unit. It would make sense. Why would you rebuy the stuff every single time? That's on you, because you say, Bree, there's nothing, these are her exact words, there's nothing in Texas for me. Yes, Lisa. Exactly, Ashley. Nothing in Texas for me. But your child. I did this on top of maintaining my apartment in West Hollywood the entire time. This is a lot of financial strain on anyone, especially a 25-year-old who lives alone. Remember that, who lives alone and does not have local support in California of family. Now, if the judge does read this, that's going to be a huge dink. First of all, she doesn't live alone, and again, she signs this under penalty and perjury that all this information is true. It's clear as day that Santos lives there. They say it all the time on live, and she does not have local support in California of family. That is one of the court's biggest things, is being able to have a support system, have family around in case, God forbid, anything was to happen, especially because you're pregnant. You're saying that you have multiple issues with your pregnancy. That means that you need to have a support system around. So the judge could take that as like, well, then I think visits would be better off in Texas. God forbid, if you have an emergency, like she did her very first visit in September. Remember, she had an emergency in the middle of the night. She was texting John and Jen to come pick up baby W because she had to fly home because she doesn't have the support. The courts don't like that. I have been doxxed and harassed at all of my Airbnbs during every visit by random strangers on the internet. Knowing John's supporters who openly hate me and lurking outside of my Airbnbs in Texas has been very unraveling, to say the least. Again, she's going to have to provide verification of that. I don't know about any of that. John's supporters have mass reported innocent third parties to my Airbnb. She already went over all this. She's doing a lot of repetitive stuff. None of this really seems to be about baby W. It seems, like I said, she's filing for custody and visitation of Santos. John's supporters have mass reported innocent third parties to Airbnb, who they somehow found out they were making an found out we're making my Airbnb reservations, Jesus, causing these parties' accounts to be placed on hold, meaning they cannot make make reservations for me anymore, and then in parentheses, or for themselves. You're supposed to be making your own reservations anyways, but you can't because you're locked on Airbnb for like $10,000, $11,000 in damage, something like that. John supporters found out who the host was of my December rental and started messaging her directly on behalf of John. So you can't say on behalf of John. If you don't have any evidence that John is directing people to do so, then you can't say on behalf of. People on the internet just nosy. They'll just be in there just doing it, just to do it. Asking for video footage of the rental. This conduct not only harassed me, but put in another innocent third party in extreme, uncomfortable position. I am traveling while pregnant, which is difficult for a number of reasons. You're barely pregnant. Second, as the FC 3044 factors not applicable, a batter's course was not ordered. Oh, all of this stuff is just not applicable. No rug class. Well, so I'm gonna skip over that. Number 19. Third, outside of the courthouse, since our DVRO trial ended, John's conduct towards the person he claimed to be threatened by and afraid of has not changed, even after the court's warning I share below. He doesn't have a DVRO against Santos, and Santos doesn't have a DVRO against him, so any of this is absolutely doesn't make any damn sense. She says, John claimed he was the victim of harassment and threats made by Santos and I, and deserved a DVRO as a result. Yet he has continued to threaten, including with physical violence, harass, and insult not just Santos, but Santos's mom and toddler daughter too. John's mom, Kim, I didn't know John had two moms, claimed at her first DVRO trial in 2024 that she was a private person and being thrust into the drama was negatively impacting her employment, mental health, and overall life. She then admitted at her second DVRO trial a few months ago that she willingly provided some of John's court filings to T-Pages before they hit the LASC's system. Okay. We watched numerous videos of her participating in John's content about the 324 kidnapping, smiling and talking to the camera. She seems to enjoy the spotlight on her and her son, despite her testimony to the contrary last year. What does any of this, you guys, they're at the point right now where they're just trying to figure out the visitation. I'm so confused why we're going back. The judge is going to be so irritated. Mind you guys, this is a 51-page document. 51. Literally grasping the straws. Like, this is crazy to go. I'm gonna start calling down. Kim. Okay. Thank you, Kathy. Conversely, Santos' mom and daughter are very private people. The mother of Santos' daughter does not use public social media at all, and the public knows very little about her. Unlike John's mom, Santos' family does not wish to be thrust into the spotlight, but John will not stop talking about them. I must just miss a lot. His latest tirade about Santos' innocent toddler daughter, which occurred 4 days ago, was foul and disgusting. Number 20. The court seemed to base the 1-year DVRO against me mainly on a video of Santos talking about John outside of a hotel and John's argument that I encouraged this behavior. John lied to the court at a trial about the main piece of this narrative, that he was at the hotel when Santos was outside. John's friends were texting Santos and egging him on to come to the hotel, but John was already gone and at the airport in another state. Nevertheless, John testified that he was inside the hotel and afraid of Santos. John gave extensive testimony about how scared he is of Santos and how threatening he believes Santos is. John painted the picture that, like, Santos is the problem and that Santos is some terrible, dangerous monster who should not be around W. And John got the order he requested on that latter piece. Despite John's claims of being afraid of Santos, he never filed a CHRO against him. I must assume because he knows he would never succeed in that case, since John is routinely the aggressor online towards Santos. Are we watching the same videos? Because this is very. Anyways, before we divide into the part of John's testimony and trial, which was mainly covered on 826. And at the 822-25 trial, the court gave this warning. I will say this to the parties, that to the extent, and especially Miss Budnick, thank you, love, to the extent that somehow or another, down the course of line, things that people say, well, and they can show this court that Mr. Giese is also engaging in exactly the kind of conduct that he is seeking a restraining order against Miss Olson for. It kind of potentially goes to his credibility in the sense of how scared can he be if he's doing the same thing. Now, I think the difference is, and again, I don't watch all of this. Yeah, it's comical. It's legitimately comical. The difference is that Santos, one, he's not a part of this whole thing. John got a DVRO against Bree, not Santos. Bree, or 2K doesn't have to get one against Santos, but nonetheless, this has nothing to do with him. But Santos does show up at people's places. Santos has acted out and has got into physical altercations with them. It's gone beyond the smack talking on the internet that they used to do prior to him and Santos and Bree ever being together. So, and again, John has if he doesn't want Santos around his child, which he shouldn't, he has an obligation to be able to show what is Santos's character like, to exactly threaten 6 feet, right? To show his character and how he is and the way that he acts and why it's not the best for him to be around. Again, he's been in mine every day for the last several days. Thank you, Dee. Now he did send me a picture of it actually being Bree in my live last night and not him. Thank you, Dee. So I don't know if it's him or if it's Bree that's threatening me. Either way it goes, it's on his account and he is right there sitting with her and a part of it. So, but I'm not a part of the case, but it does go to show his character. Okay, 21. Despite John's claim on the stand at the end of the break at one of the trials, we opened the courtroom door to re-enter, and the bailiff told everyone the court was not ready yet, so to wait in the hallway. Santos and I were in the front of the huddle with John and his friends inches behind us. As we backed away from the door, John started screaming at Santos as if he was initiating a street fight outside of a nightclub. The dramatics. I can't. Oh my God, what did I just do? Okay. So I'm gonna say it one more time. As we backed away from the door, John started screaming at Santos as if he was initiating a street fight outside of a nightclub, not in a professional setting, in a courthouse, and the bailiff immediately broke up the altercation. I asked Santos not to accommodate me anymore. Accompany to the remaining days of trial, since John seemingly could not control his temper in Santos's presence. I am dying, you guys. People online have sent me countless examples of John harassing Santos online, and below are just a few. Never mind. I'm just going to read so we can get to the examples. she lists a bunch of examples here. 1018, John was on live on his TikTok account, repeatedly telling Santos that Santos is John's bitch. Santos my bitch. He will always be my bitch. It doesn't fucking matter, bro. Your most viral moment was when we went live and I made you look like a bitch. So she goes on about that. 1028 for context as to John's comment about Santos got chin filler in late October. And this was public knowledge because Santos posted a video of it as part of a gig with the med spa. John has made fun of Santos about this procedure numerous times on TikTok lives. On this occasion, John openly threatened Santos with physical violence, as well as insulting Santos' mom. Sorry, your mom is worthless as fuck to her grandchild. Santos, you were worthless as fuck to your kid you made. Stop bringing up my mama just because your mom is worthless as fuck and has to watch you get a BBL in your face. For your insecurity. Shut the fuck up. Like, damn. And bro, you keep putting your hands on people, I'm gonna make you shove your hands up your own. You better be careful what you're doing. Not a BBL in the face. That's funny. 2K does have some good comebacks. Oh, we're just going back over what we did last night. Okay. We're almost done. I'm done here, and then we're gonna go into the new stuff. Okay. 1227. This is where she goes on about the thing with what he said about his daughter. That just happened, so I'm not gonna read all that. And then she says, I declare under penalty and perjury of law of the state of California that the foregoing is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. Can I read that again? I declare under penalty and perjury of law. Ma'am, first of all, the majority of that information has nothing to do with your case. Again, unless you are filing for custody and visitation of Santos, I have no clue what any of that has to do with your case. 1. 2, the amount of times you lied. Are you okay? Lied. Blatant lie. Okay. Yeah. Oh, what is penalty and perjury? Penalty and perjury of law means that you are signing under oath stating that you understand that there is penalties. The penalty is the perjury. The perjury means a lie, that you lied under oath. When you get up in court and you say, I attest under, I will tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. If you tell a lie, that is punishable up to, could be jail time, it could be a fine, you can be held in contempt of court, etc. So if you're not on the stand and you don't raise your hand and say that, but you're doing it in court docs, they make you sign under penalty and perjury of law. So it does sound like that, Nikki. Okay, now we're going to get into the evidence. This is kind of all a good part. Let me take a quick break. I'm going to use the bathroom, refill my Diet Coke. Give me 1 minute. And then I'll be back and we're going to dive into the evidence. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys are following because I'm going to break all of this down a little bit more and the rest of the cases because they go to court on trials they go to court on the 6th. So there's going to be a lot more coming out. Send your daily heart me. Oh, we're 3 away from 600. Send your daily heart me already if you have not. And I'll be right back. Give me 1 minute. 600 daily heart. Thank you guys so much. You guys are the best. Okay. You guys, listen. If you guys follow me, you guys know let's talk about. I love the emails. Okay, I feel like the emails. Thank you, Kathy. I feel like the emails. Oh, who's that? Hold on. Best thing you've watched for 200 minutes. Thank you, love. I feel like the emails definitely shows the difference between the attorneys. You know what I'm saying? Like, you definitely can see the difference in the two attorneys, their skill level, their everything. Oh, Queen, you're at the perfect time because you were on last night. So I was just recapping everything last night. I'm just now getting into the evidence. So you are good. Exactly, principal. It is night and day. It's hilarious to me. The grammar lows, yes. Okay. Here we go. Guys, we're only on page 13 of 51. Okay. We'll go up. Oh, what did that's okay, let me answer that one really fast before we get started punching him. It was in here last night. What you said is this is absolutely embarrassing. Pretty much. That's what she said. I mean, those were her exact words. This is embarrassing, and doesn't think the judge will even partake in any of this. Thank you so much, Kathy. Kathy been spoiling me. Okay. Counsel's notice of unavailability. This is Exhibit A. To all interested parties, this is just what her attorney said when she was out. Please take notice that for the period of October 10th to October 19th, Lindsay Arfonska, attorney for the respondent, will be unavailable for any purpose whatsoever, including but not limited to receiving notices of any kind, responding to ex parte applications, appearing in court, or attending depositions, and respectfully request that all issues arising during said period be deferred until after my return. Request is hereby made that court appearances or other matters requiring counsel's participation not be set for those dates. Purposefully scheduling a conflicting proceeding without good cause is sanctionable conduct. Lindsay R. Fonseca is prepared to argue the Tenderloin Housing Act or Clinic versus Sparks, which allows the court to impose sanctions on attorneys for purposely scheduling conflicting proceedings without good cause after a notice of unavailability has been served. Who determines if it's a good cause or not? I'm confused. So if she was to kidnap the child again during said time, like everyone else just has to wait till they come back? Another attorney can't handle that situation? I'm confused. And then the next one is the proof of service. Gives her her law firm. Okay, Exhibit B. Respondent's declaration regarding a certificate of completion of 12-hour. I can't. Respondent's declaration regarding certificate of completion of 12-hour co-parenting high conflict. It says co-parenting / high conflict parenting class. 12-hour, not 12 weeks, co-parenting, not a parenting class. I, Brianna Olson, hereby declare as follows. I am the respondent in the above titled action. I offer my declaration in lieu of personal testimony, blah, blah, blah. I successfully completed a 12-hour online co-custody / high conflict parenting class. A true and correct copy of my certificate of completion regarding said class is attached hereunto Exhibit A. I declare under penalty and perjury of law, the state of California, that the foregoing is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. And here is, it's flipping. Oh my God. my iPad keeps slipping. So this is their co-parenting, high conflict, parenting class completion, corner store counseling. Oh my god. It's sideways. It keeps slipping as I'm turning it. And then each one just shows the proof of service after it. Exhibit C. Okay. This is from John's attorney to Bree's attorney. It says, I'll look into it. Thanks. Oh, because the original request or email is from Bree's attorney. Bree's attorney says, hi, Taylor. As you're made aware per our 7-3 filing and service of Brianna's certificate attached again here. Brianna took a co-parenting / high conflict parenting class on her own accord prior to the DVRO trial. She took the class through Cornerstone Counseling Center, which is one of on the providers list. I spoke to the owner of the facility, Scott, about the format. Oh, I'm holding it upside down. Hold on, sorry. About the format of the class and was advised Brianna was taking private one-on-one Zoom sessions with him and completed 12 hours of sessions. I know I explained a shortened version of all of this to the judge in the final seconds we had left on the record on 8/27. And she said if Brianna had already done a class to just file a certificate, and I advised her we'd already filed one and served one. Are you going to be arguing that this class Brianna already finished somehow doesn't comply with the court orders for a parenting class? Thank you. And then that's when she responded back, I'll look at it. Thanks. Exhibit D. Oh, that's what's happening. I'm all twisted around. Here we go. This is from Bree's attorney to John's attorney. She says, wait, let me read first. Okay, I have to go to the bottom and read up so we can see. Oh, wait, hold on. I Googled a 12-week class. Wait, I Googled a 12-week class, and it's 24 hours total, 2-hour class a week on parenting. Okay. Is this the bottom of it? It is. Okay. So I'm working from the bottom on my way up. This is from John's attorney to her attorney. Hi, Lindsay. Brianna sent John her Airbnb address in Dallas. Can you please make sure she also shares proof of her round-trip flight information in and out of Dallas to confirm travel reservations have been made for W, so we know what flight she will be. Sorry, what's happening? Reservations have been made for W, and we know what flight she will be departing on if she fails to return him. And the contact information and address where W can be reached throughout his visits. I'm assuming she isn't planning to spend 24 hours a day every day at the Airbnb. If she hasn't finalized day-to-day details, she can just let John know the address where W will be reached each day as she makes the plans. Jesus Christ. Okay. And then Bree's attorney responds back. Hi, Taylor. This is really reaching. Respectfully, John doesn't get to micromanage Brianna's time with W like this. W isn't a protected party on the DVRO. Well, he's not on the DVRO, but he does have an anti-kidnap order. So he is protected under that in some sense. I mean, I don't know what all he gets to put, but there is an anti-kidnapping order. So I don't know. Anyways, I'll just keep reading. W isn't a protected part of the DVRO, and there are no supervised visitation orders in place. She's not required to tell John daily what activities she'll be doing with W, nor the addresses of said activities. W is 17 months old and doesn't have a cell phone, so John already knows to use OFW to check on him per the court orders, and for true emergencies, he can call or text Brianna's cell phone. Brianna sent the Airbnb address on 9/14 as required by the court's order. If you're going to say that your questions are based off of number 6 of the DV 145, please reread the section. It says, before traveling with the children. Brianna isn't traveling anywhere with W. She is staying at an Airbnb, not on Dallas County. It's in Dallas County, but anyways. she literally says she's staying at an Airbnb on Dallas County. She's on top of the county. She also already clarified for John on OFW on 9/15 that she's checking into the Airbnb the day before she gets W so that she can get settled and make sure everything is set up for him in the Airbnb. 2 things from us to discuss with you. 1, per number 4 and 6 of the DV 145, Brianna is allowed to travel within Texas during her custodial time in Texas. On 9/2, see attached thread, the parties were discussing upcoming months of potential weeks during which Brianna can come see W, per John's request to lay out the schedule in advance. He mentioned she has Thanksgiving and Christmas this year. She suggested 9/17/23, 9/17 to the 23rd, and 11/24 through 30th in Corpus Christi, and 12/20 through to 28. John immediately said no to Corpus Christi, stating it wasn't a surrounding county of Dallas County. Duh. He sent a list of what he believes to be those areas. I don't know where the list came from, because on our orders don't define this. And these two subsections of our orders also say Brianna can travel within Texas during custodial time. Yeah, in Dallas County and surrounding counties. What's she talking about? Brianna explained her family lives in Corpus Christi, Texas, which is 1 hour flight from Dallas. And they haven't been able to see W since last Thanksgiving. Not true. She was just there. She mentioned how they have reached out to John via text several times over the past year to get updates on W and see him in Dallas, but have been ignored. Brianna would like to spend the Thanksgiving trip in Corpus Christi with her family. The orders permit this. No, they don't. They absolutely do not permit this. Lindsay, come to Lindsay. Maybe you need to come watch it. Listen, I'm not even an attorney, and I can tell you that. Okay, she cannot. Dallas County and surrounding counties, Corpus Christi and San Antonio are not that. This is not that. 2 things can be. Thank you, Kathy. What is she talking about? Please advise as to John's reasoning based on the orders as to why he's trying to not allow this. If this trip was booked, Brianna would follow the subsections of the DV 145 noted above. John stopped responding to this thread on 9/2 after reading Brianna's last message. 2, I never heard back from you further following the 9/2 response to my email sent earlier that day. Ari, the parenting class Brianna already completed through a facility of LASC's list. Please advise. Email attached. Okay, now let me go up. Okay. Now this is Taylor's response to Lindsay. John's response to John's lawyer to Bree's lawyer. Lindsay, the DV 130 includes... Listen, I haven't even read any of this. I tell you, I'm not an attorney, but did I not say this? It includes the anti-kidnapping order. Hi, Lindsay. The DV 130 includes kidnapping prevention orders on the last page. Ding, ding, ding. Hello. Brianna needs to provide the address and contact phone number of where the minor child can be located during her visits, as well as round-trip ticket... Absolutely. Round-trip flight information. I've ordered a copy of the transcript. My recollection is the court limited Brianna's visits to Dallas and surrounding counties. Thanks. The minute order reflects this also, but states it's for the first month. I'm not sure about the parenting class. The course itself is probably fine, but there was a DVTRO violation the day she claimed she completed it. Again, I have no clue what the violation was. So this is from Bree's attorney to John's attorney. Wait. Sorry, no, this is from John's attorney to Bree's attorney. As further noted, before you accuse John of being difficult, this is coming from me. I am personally concerned about your client's ability to follow orders and am asking for the appropriate assurances that I have a professional obligation to my client. I do not want to be responsible if something happens to W during your client's week because I failed to ask for necessary information. You guys, this is, oh my gosh. This is what she was talking about when I said before, I'm like, I can't see Lindsay, or sorry, I can't see Taylor, John's attorney. I cannot see John's attorney stating, well, I'm just doing this because I don't want my client mad at me and I'm just making up, I'm just adding in new rules. That is not what happened at all. She clearly stated, she put it right back to the orders. It says there's the anti-kidnapping order, which does add in the extra thing of the travel and the itinerary that she has to provide, and then also goes back to the Dallas and surrounding counties. So she said that perfectly. Why does she... Oh, God. I already know this is from Lindsay because it's long. Okay. Here we go. Hi, Taylor. What are you talking about, Ari? The last page of the DV 130? I'm looking at page 10 of 10 of that form, and there are no orders about kidnapping. Do I need to pull it up for you? I will pull it up for you. I will. I would help you. I would help you because you clearly need it. This blows my mind. Let me start again. Hi, Taylor. What are you talking about, RE, the last page of the DV 130? I'm looking at page 10 of 10 of that form. Of that form, and there are no orders about kidnapping. No orders of Brianna to provide contact information of a 17-month-old, W's location, and round trip flight information. Again, I think what you're referring to is 6 of the DV 145, which pertains to traveling with W, which Brianna is allowed to do per the orders within Texas. She can't. However, Brianna isn't traveling with W anywhere on this trip. She's staying at Airbnb she gave John the address to. We also ordered all the transcripts. However, telling me you did the same doesn't answer the question. On what basis is John denying Brianna's right to travel with W within Texas to Corpus Christi during her Thanksgiving trip to see her family? When travel within Texas is explicitly allowed during her custodial time under 4 and 6 of the DV 145. Don't make me pull it up. I will pull it up. I don't know what your allegation as to a violation of the temp DVRO has to do with Brianna completing her parenting class. You don't seem to want to answer my very direct question about the parenting class. Maybe out of strategy, so you can object to the last minute before our January hearing so that Brianna's custody time doesn't get moved to LA, as the judge said it likely would be if there aren't any issues. Please explain. But there were several issues, not just the parenting class. She also has to have a residence in California, and there also had to have been no issues in every single visit. Yeah, it is very hard to read her emails. It's a lot. As to your comment about these demands coming from you and not John, are we also to assume that the instance on having visits in a visitation facility, when that was not ordered, was also something you decided to put into place? The judge didn't look fondly on you/John making that non-existent order and told the group at 2 different hearings that he was never her order or her intention. I don't even know what she's talking about. It's your responsibility as counsel to ensure the orders are understood and followed by your client, and my responsibility as to Brianna's is the same. If you're being asked to create orders that don't exist out of some sort of threat of responsibility or blame being placed on you over something my client does, then that sounds like an issue you need to handle with your client. It's completely inappropriate to try to create orders that don't exist just to appease John, which is honestly what it sounds like you're doing. Before you respond to stuff, you should probably look at all the orders. The fact that you don't even know that there's an anti-kidnap order out on your client is mind-boggling to me. You should know what orders the judge have put out on place on your client, and that you're telling her what she's doing is wrong. And let's continue. We were concerned with what John's reaction would be to the huge step down in control. Oh my God. He has over Brianna by the way of the supervised visitation order being lifted and W not being a protected party of the DVRO. Believing all of this could cause him to spiral. And oh my God. And it appears this could be happening. Oh my God. This chick is out of her. She's off her damn rocker. I can't. As I've repeatedly said since becoming involved with this case, John isn't going to be able to keep Brianna from W or continuously control and micromanage her relationship with W. This lady. Okay. Taylor responds, "Hi, Lindsay. This is extremely unproductive. I'll address my issues with the court if necessary." Okay. "I am not going to continue to engage in a back and forth with you. Proceed as you think you is appropriate." That's what Lynn said. Proceed as you think you is appropriate. That still doesn't make any sense. And then she responds back. Lindsay responds back, "Okay, I'll ask Brianna if she wishes to proceed ex parte on her Thanksgiving issues since you're refusing to continue to meet and confer about it, or even point me to the order that you claim supports John's refusal to allow this." Ma'am, why does she literally told you it's the DV 130. You should know that. You should have that. Why does she have to point you to it? I could pull it up. Oh my God. Okay, so now let me go to the next one. Exhibit E. Oh God. Okay. Let me stretch. This is a long one. She can never just send a quick, generalized email. You know what I'm saying? This is like 3 pages. It's gonna give me a headache. I should take some Excedrin. REIRMO Giese versus Olson. Response to 1121 meet and confer letter, RE discovery responses. So this is her response to discovery. "Hi, Taylor. This letter shall serve as our formal response to your 11/19/25 meet and confer letter. RE Brianna's response to John's request for production of documents. Set 1, which were served on your office via email 11/22/25. Demand served 11/17 via email. In sum, we're not providing supplemental responses, and we stand by our objections. We still believe these demands were served for the improper purposes of annoying and harassing Brianna." Oh my God. "Both parties have now wasted hours of time and thousands of dollars in attorney's fees over this frivolous discovery, which is sanctionable conduct pursuant to FC 271. Service of this demand occurred just 1 hour after we refused your emailed demand for much of the same stuff, same stuff your RPDs asked for. And you refused to point me to where the DV 130, oh my God. You refused to point me to where in the DV 130 you were claiming there were kidnapping orders that justified your informal demands." You guys remember me reading the kidnapping orders, correct? Have I lost my shit? I read it many times. You guys do remember, yes? I'm so confused. I am legitimately so confused. I will pull it. When I'm done with this, I absolutely 100% will pull it. Again, there were no such orders on the last page of that form. It's a separate form. There was 3 orders put out at the same time. Okay. Again, there were no such orders on the last page of that form. Per what you claimed in your email, the timing of the service of these demands were no coincidence. It was retaliation for not getting what you wanted via email, and what you wanted wasn't anything John was entitled to under the DVRO. I will remind you that you admitted to that in your 917 response, claiming you were personally concerned about Brianna's unsupervised visits with W and didn't want to be held liable by your client for anything that happened. Wouldn't all clients want that? I mean, all attorneys want that? As I said in my response that day, you can't create orders that don't exist just to appease your client. That's completely inappropriate. RPD 1. Residence documents. So this goes, you guys, this is, oh my God, we're going through each. Jesus. This is going to be long. She's going through each demand. Remember, I did a video for each demand. Buckle up, bitches. Give me a long one. Residence documents. No supplemental response will be provided, as John already has Brianna's historical residence information since W's birth as required by law. As evidenced by documents on file with the court, Brianna's addresses are all he is entitled to. We remain concerned with the ease at which Brianna's Airbnb addresses in Dallas keep being visited by third parties during her visitation with W when only John knows those addresses. Again, you guys, I have to say this because this drives me crazy. Let's just say, right, we're gonna go to Delulu land where they live. If John, in fact, is the only one that has it, do you think John would be willing to put his child at risk, at harm's way, and release it? Thank you so much, you guys, for the gifts. He's not releasing that information for nothing. Because what's that going to do? Put his own child at risk. He's not doing that. Again, they dox themselves. I'm so glad that exposing _70 put that video up to show exactly how she got the information. If you guys have not seen it, please go over there and look. It's exposing _70. She has a whole video up of exactly how she was able to find the address and put the pieces together to show that Santos was there. So, CCP 2023 covers the misuse of this discovery process and therefore is routinely cited as part of objection and discovery. The facts shared in our objection that cited to the CCP were to highlight why we believed this entire set of discovery was served for the improper purpose of harassing and annoying Brianna. You demanded information from Brianna about her first non-supervised visitation with W that was far outside of the scope of what was required to provide per the DVRO. When I asked you to explain what part of the DVRO you were relying on to demand this information, you could not provide this information to me because it doesn't exist within the DVRO. Thus, we still stand on the belief that John only served this discovery just 1 hour after we declined to provide the information. What you demanded via email as to means to harass my client. John's 43024 form lists Brianna's address that she lived at during the time. I'm not going to list these addresses, you guys. That wasn't redacted before this was put out. I grasp that she doesn't live there anymore, but I'm not putting that information out. None of this will come from me. John visited Brianna and W at this address multiple times. Brianna's next address, again, this is what kills me though. Brianna's next address was the MILF house. Doesn't put the address. She legitimately puts the MILF house. Oh, let me see. Oh my gosh. Hold on, I just backed out. Let me go back in. My bad. Trying to show you something. Okay, here we go. I just want to make sure I don't have any addresses. Okay. Look at that. Not an address, just the MILF house. Okay. So Brianna's next address was the MILF house, which John also visited with his friends and or the police, as well as streamed online. As disclosed in Brianna's 723 supplemental declaration filed before the DVRO trial on 5/16/25, Brianna signed a lease in her solo name on an apartment in LA. She needed to get out of the MILF house immediately, but didn't want to sign a long-term lease without knowing what was going to happen with the DVR trial. I think that was actually smart. So the lease was only for 6 months and expired 11/19/25, right before her travel to Texas. Thank you, Marissa. Thank you, love. What's that? Thank you so much. Wait, did you say you can or can't find it? I can put it up. So the lease was 6 months, expired 11/19, right before she went to her travel. With her Texas trip and okay. Oh, I checked her last lease for reference. I will not be posting that as well. With her Texas trip and some subsequent travel thereafter, she put her stuff into storage so she could house hunt upon return from her travel. She will have a new lease secured sometime this month. Marissa, thank you. As your letter acknowledges, there are no pending requests for support or fees filed by either party. Yada, yada, yada. Probably what I'll do with this, thank you, pretty Jackie. Probably what I'll do with this, I'll do videos of what his request, what his demand was, and then their response. I'll do it like that so you guys can get this, because it is kind of confusing reading this without knowing exactly what the demands are. Number 2, lawsuits. No supplemental response will be provided. Brianna hasn't been served with any lawsuits. That was his request for that. I'm not going to read all these in demand. His response, thank you, Taz. Demand number 3 was airline travel. This demand seeks the same information as RPD 3. Both are seeking Brianna and or W's travel reservations and itineraries for Brianna's travel to Texas for visit with W from 4/26 to present. No supplemental response will be provided. The production period on this travel demand is 4/26/24 to present. Makes it clear you're really asking for Brianna's latest travel information, as anything prior to the DVRO would be mute. As to those issues, we're already litigated in the DVRO trial. You're demanding the September information via email on 9/16/25 failed to state a bias under which you were entitled to this information per the DVRO. And then when we wouldn't give it to you, you served this discovery. Okay, so let me explain this really fast. I don't know why the travel was done, why that was requested from beginning. What I can say I think it is for, which would make sense to me, is she's requesting visitation in California, right? So typically what happens whenever two parents live in two different states, travel is usually done. One parent flies one way or pays for travel one way, the other parent pays for the other way. I have a feeling the reason why they're requesting it is it's going to show that John has provided and paid for all of the travel thus time up until these last 4 months. She has only paid for travel for the last 4 months. So I have a feeling that that's why they're doing it, to be able to even out the travel time. So if she gets visitation in California, she should have to pay for all of it. That's my assumption. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, so I'm not going to read through all of. She does 2 pages just on the airfare travel. Your final response was to say you were done discussing this topic. You never answered because again, her attorney doesn't understand the anti-kidnap order. You now argue this information is likely to lead to evidence Ari's Brianna's request for W to live in California, but didn't explain this position. We don't understand the connection between Brianna wanting to live here and her travel information to and from Texas. You next argue this information is relevant to claim Brianna may claims Brianna may have about difficulties traveling to and from Texas. It's no secret what those difficulties are and will be, as Brianna has testified to this topic at the DVRO trial. Traveling while pregnant is difficult, and having to pay for flights, a hotel, Airbnb, food, ride shares, and all of W's necessities that must be bought each time she travels to Texas is expensive. Again, I feel that's such a moot point. And maybe I am so wrong on this. That comes, again, consequences. She did consequences, right? She did action, so she has consequences for her actions. Just like John moved his entire life and family to California for 8 months, but still had to pay for all of his bills in Texas for said 8 months while he fought for his child. So I don't understand. And again, you would not have to do that. You would not have to pay for every single thing every single time you go there if you just rented an apartment there. It would be better for your child, etc. Or as she said, or she can just rent a storage unit. Yeah, you could. Then rent one and quit bitching about it in your damn court docs. Shit. Let me find where it was. John already knows this from traveling to and from Texas to California himself, as evidenced by the spreadsheet you served prior to the DVR. Yep, for all of his travel expenses spent during doing the same thing. Seeing Brianna's airfare travel reservations, airline travel itineraries, airline travel schedules is just to reach into Brianna's private. Stop it. Stop it. Private life, especially because she's publicly announced numerous times that she rarely books her own stuff for privacy reasons. I can't. Her assistant or other third parties do, considering John was somehow able to contact Brianna's last Airbnb host through a third party without knowing who the host was initially, which we understand he denies doing, but we respectfully don't believe that. This lady doesn't encourage Brianna to share any of these details with John out of fear of him or people on his behalf trying to drag third parties into the party's drama. We do need to make this a drinking game. As your letter acknowledges, there are no pending requests for support or fees filed by either party on file with the court at this time, making your argument for these documents on the basis mute. Should John ever file one of those RFO's discoveries as to his income be served immediately. It is so... Get me through it. A little pep on the cheek to help me through. Reading her stuff is very draining. Listen, we need to make it a whole game. I don't drink, you guys know that. But I may start. After reading this, I may have to start, okay? You guys may see a different me. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. All right. Let's stretch it out. Get some blood flowing. Thank you, you guys. Thank you all so much for tapping. Oh my gosh, you guys are at 150,000 likes. You guys are freaking amazing. I love you guys. Thank you. Okay, his demand request number 4 is law enforcement records. No supplemental response will be provided. You were already served with the LAPD and LASD documents who subpoenaed prior to the DVRO trial. The 325 drama and had the ability to buy the same documents yourself for deposition officer. Brianna wasn't arrested and or cited for any crimes on Catalina Island in June 2025 and has nothing to provide. I love how they want in her request or her whatever it was that she just put up. was all about Santos, but they want to leave everything of Santos out of their request, which is funny to me. Because he was arrested for DV against her on Catalina Island. And it does involve her because it asks for, in the demand, if I remember correctly, it asks for any police activities. Betty, hi, love. Any police activities that include, but not limited to, her as a suspect, a victim, a witness, or something else. Yeah, sorry, but I'm doing, now I'm reading the, nay, thank you. Look at me swimming across the screen. We're now doing the evidence. Last night I read what the things were. Now it's the evidence. Okay. Damn it, man. Okay, so Kathleen has nothing to provide. Again, you could confirm her lack of trouble with the law like I did using LAC's last name search in the criminal system. There was 0 hits on Brianna's name. It sounds like you're being very or overly intrusive. We assume your reference to romantic partner of defendant and his criminal history in your 1121 letter was a comment about Santos. Santos isn't a party to this case, nor is Brianna's Okay. Santos isn't a party to this case, nor is Brianna obligated to, nor has the ability to provide documents to John about a third party's criminal history. However, if you pay $1 to LASC's name, search criminal history, you'll see the no cases for Santos here in 2025. Again, the entire thing I just read that she put out was all about Santos. So never mind. Just because the parties share a child together doesn't mean either of them are obligated to disclose their involvement with law enforcement to the other co-parent, as you alleged. This is an enormous reach. Based on your position, this would mean John must notify Brianna every time he calls the police on her when she's with W, which we both know happens numerous times. Then it says in parentheses that calling the police part, not him notifying him the fact. Listen, you probably can request that. The reason why he's requesting it is because of domestic violence. Thank you, Daria. The domestic violence. That is a huge play in regards. Oh shit! I got crabs. Ooh. I could be in the MILF house. Just kidding. The domestic violence piece of it is a huge part in regards to the custody. You guys, that is one of the big things that the attorney is going to look at. If in sorry, God damn it. I'm trying to be so serious. Now look at me. Can't help myself. It's a good ball. But yeah, the attorney's not going to be happy with it. And again, 90% of the time, Bree has been the aggressor, right? On the DV against Santos. Bree has been the aggressor in that situation. So it's only going to go to show that his DVRO action was spot on. I think her attorney is, oh shit, we're surfing. Listen, that was good blower. Now I got the crabs. Listen, that's what happens, okay? They usually come together time and time. Okay. Request number 5, counseling therapy. Again, she's not going to provide it. You've had Brianna's co-parenting / high conflict parenting class completion certificate from Cornerstone Counseling signed by Scott, whatever, owner of the facility, since it was served on 7/3/25. Brianna's 7/23/25 supplemental declaration discussed the details of this class and referenced her lodging and service of the certificate on 7/3/25. I shared the certificate with you a second time via email on 9/2/25, attempting to meet and confer about the class, meeting the court's requirement of a parenting class for the DVR order. You responded to my email 15 minutes later and said you'd look into it. Thus, you'd been sent what your 9/17/25 RPD requested twice before. You served the discovery on us, so we're unsure why you're seeking the same document a third time. Because it's not the right fucking document. That's why. Shit. This is why I would not be a good lawyer. I do not have the patience for this. I'm not typing up a nice, easy response. That's why. Just a bunch of bullshit. Okay, number 6, travel to Texas. This demand seeks the same information as RPD 3. Both are seeking Brianna's and or W's travel reservations and itineraries for Brianna's travel to Texas for visitation with W from 427 or 426 to present. This demand seeks the same information as RPD 3. Both are seeking Brianna. She's just said the same thing. I swear to God, you guys, I'm not crazy. Look at this. Listen, you guys probably thinking I don't, something's wrong with me. She said the exact same thing back to back. It's not me. I just need you guys to know that wasn't me that just randomly just went on repeat mode. That's how she typed it up. So no supplemental response be provided. She's not turned in. The production period of this demand 426 to present makes it clear you're really asking for Brianna's latest travel information or anything prior to the DVRO trial, which is, she literally just said this too. Yeah, is she copy and pasting? You demanded the September information okay, I'm not reading all this. She's reading the same thing. Brianna provided her Airbnb address to John on OFW on 9/14/25 as required far in advance from her visit. You then demanded round-trip flight information in and out of Dallas to confirm no travel reservations have been made for W, and we know what flight she will be on depending on if she fails to return him. Again, yeah. Hello, welcome in everyone who's just joining. And the contact information, the address where W can be reached, assuming she isn't planning to spend 24 hours a day at the Airbnb. This goes back and just does everything we just went over. I reminded you via the email in the first response on 9/17/25 that there are no supervised visits order in place. She's not required to tell John daily what activities she'll be doing with W, nor the address of those activities. And W was 17 months and has no cell phone. This is everything she just put up there. So Bree's response is just cut directly from this. You responded the DV-130 includes kidnapping prevention orders on the last page. Brianna needs to provide the address and contact phone number from where the minor child can be located during the visits, as well as round-trip flight information. You then sent a second email 4 minutes later and alleged these demands weren't coming from John but from you. You said you were personally concerned about your client's ability to follow orders, and I'm asking for the appropriate assurance as I have a professional obligation to my client. I do not want to be responsible if something happens to W during your client's week because I failed to ask responsibly. Y'all. It's killing me. I asked what you were talking about is the last page of the DV-130. Is page 10 of 10. Again, this just repeats everything we just went over. Your final response was to say, we're done discussing this topic. And you never answered my question about the DV-130, which is what you base your demands on this information for in the last place. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to take a quick detour, guys. Hold on. Hold the phone. We're taking a quick detour because this is pissing me off, and I'm going to pull up the DV-130. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Because now it's pissing me off. What's this one? Give me a second, so I have to go through all of this, so hold on. I think that's what that. Nope. Order to prevent child abduction. Name. Oh my God. Go back. Sorry. Order to prevent child abduction. 1. Name of protected person. Gacy. Parent. Name of restrained person. Brianna. Court's decision. There is a risk to the person to Brianna. Might take the children without permission. The judge has oh wait, sorry, I have to read this one. There is a risk that the person into Brianna might take the children without permission because, and then it's checked, has violated or threatened to violate a custody or visitation order. Number 4, has a history of, and let's check all apply, taking the child without permission. The orders are granted as follows. And then it's marked. Do not move without written permission from the other parent or court orders. The person in 2 must not remove the children outside of California. And then in the other box it says, or Texas during her custodial time in Texas. Then it says, she must turn in and do not apply for passports or other documents. Provide travel plan as documented. Oh, perfect. You're here at perfect time. Listen, Bree. Provide travel plan as documented. Person in 2 must either give the person in 1 the following before traveling with the children. The travel schedule, copies of, let me turn my request. Travel of round-trip airfare tickets, addresses, telephone numbers, etc. Oops, what did I just do? How did I just do that? How did I make my comments so big? So go read that, lady. Okay, let me go back to where I was at. Because reading her stuff is daunting. Okay, we just did the travel to Texas. Okay. Okay, number 7. Third parties in Texas with Brianna. No supplemental responses will be provided. John already has this information from 325 to 825, as Brianna was required to get John's permission for a third party to be present at her visitation with W at the facility you forced her to use. And John only allowed her mom to be present once for those visits. To claim that this isn't a sufficient response because Brianna didn't sign off on this via verified responses is absurd. It's not absurd because Santos is at every single visit. He is there with her during the visits, and it clearly states in her court records Santos is not to be around. So why is it so absurd? Lindsay, you need to focus on what your client's actually doing instead of doing all of this, right? Because Santos is there at every visit. In every capacity, right? He's not supposed to be there in any capacity, but he is there in every capacity. This guy. To claim that isn't sufficient response because Brianna didn't sign off on this via verified response absurd unless you're trying to allege the facility Brianna used for her visits was allowing her to sneak third parties in. That's not what he's asking for. Without John's knowledge. Brianna also posted a line during her Thanksgiving visit with W, showing her immediate family members with her and W at the Airbnb celebrating holidays together. Thank you, okay. And the same was true for her September visit with W, showing her best friend Ruby there, accompanying Brianna and W to the fair and other activities. To claim these documents are relevant as to W's bond or lack thereof with friends and family members of respondent is absolutely absurd or ridiculous. If this is truly your position, then Brianna has a right to know who John was around, or who John has around W at all times, so she doesn't have any custody. That's not her obligation. She lost all custody. Brianna has no custody of baby W. John has 100% full physical and legal custody of baby W. He has the right to ask and to say. She has no custody. She doesn't have that obligation to say. She just needs to be thankful she gets to see the child at this point. So I don't understand oh my God. Did this attorney do family law ever at all? I'm so confused. I get that she was TMZ. I get that it's TMZ. But Jesus. Okay, the only parties to this case are John and Brianna. Brianna isn't obligated to, nor has the ability to provide documents to John that belong to third parties, such as airline bookings by said third parties. Also, this demand is really not asking for documents, but disclosing for those who have been in Texas with Brianna, which isn't appropriate for RPD, but for special rogues. Additionally, we discussed this via email on 10/15/25 when you threatened an ex parte RFO during my, what is she trying to say here? During my notice period of unavailability, per my notice of unavailability pleadings filed and served on 10/17/25, I explained that Brianna isn't prohibited from flying to Texas with Santos, as Brianna's flight to her visitation location isn't visitation. Thank you, Name. And the orders only prohibited Santos from being present for Brianna's visit with W. What she missed, though, is the whole in any capacity. You guys, and we went over this so many times. He's not allowed to be around in any capacity, and we looked that up in the California family law website, right? In any capacity is it's intentionally a broad term, right? To cover any loopholes. And every time I go over this, I always feel like, hi, Chris. I always feel like I'm reading I'm reading Green Eggs and Ham. In any capacity means he cannot be part of the planning of the visitation, be part of the travel of the visitation. He can't be on FaceTime. He can't be text messaging. He can't be social media. He can't be around the Airbnb for the entirety, right? Not just when baby W is there, right? But through the entirety. So the whole 7-day period, right? That she has him. He can't be in the yard, in the car, on the street, in the house, picking up the dog, dropping off food. He cannot be there in any way, shape, or form. Okay, that's what it says. It's not allowed. It'll be brought up, but it's not allowed. Bree just makes up her own rules, and then cries about it when she has consequences. Oh, I know. Listen, you guys, Bree and Santos are my biggest fans. Legitimately, they brought in their New Year's with me. They've been in here every single day. They're my biggest fans, okay? They're in here every day. So, thank you. RPD request number 8. No supplemental response will be provided. This is party shared housing. You know what? The sad thing is I wish that they did learn from me. Right? I truly do wish that they did learn from me. I wish that they would listen to some of the stuff that I say, because again, I don't hate either one of them. I just want what's best for baby W. And I really truly wish that both of them would get their shit together and be the best parents to be. The fact that Bree made a statement that Santos can't take action to get visitation or to see his daughter until she's completely done with going through all of this with her son is crazy work to me. Why can't two things be done at the same time? And he just allows it. He's just like, oh, okay, we'll keep going through it. So I have some pins on that, but let me read through this long ass document that her attorney wrote up, because okay, it's a lot. So okay, this is a shared household. Again, I don't understand why this would not be relevant. But no supplemental response will be provided. This demand is really not asking for documents, but disclosure of anyone who has lived with Brianna, which isn't appropriate for an RPD, but for a special ROG. If/when Brianna, not her, let me see that she signed this on wrong. If/when Brianna ever has a roommate living with her, she will file and serve an updated UCCJEA form as required by law to update W's residency information. Okay, well, if W is living with you, that's not a roommate. That's your child living with you. And if/when you do have somebody living with you. Santos lived with you at your last place for the last 6 months. He lived with you at the MILF house as well. And he lives with you right now at Ruby's house. And you live with Ruby. What do you mean if/when? How much do you put? Bree, I have a feeling your attorney is just soaking you dry for money. Legitimately. I literally think the attorney is just getting her money. She knows she's not doing anything. She's not. And then the fact that I'm going to reread this in part because the way it finishes, she's writing it like W is going to be the roommate. Okay? So I'm going to read it again. If/when Brianna ever has a roommate living with her, she will file and serve an updated UCCJEA form as required by law to update W's residency information with the court. W's not the roommate. We note John hasn't met this legal obligation to this point, as his only UCCJEA on file only lists Brianna's address in DTLA where she was living when W was born. And in case you guys don't know, the UCCJEA is it's like a website that you put in whenever Jessica, I object. It's a website that you put whenever a child moves state lines. No, Bree will not get in trouble for not turning her passport over because that was her only form of identification and she was not required to do so. She did that was taken care of. Request number 9. Relocation documents. No supplemental response will be provided. Brianna has been very vocal online about her intentions to remain living in LA. Okay, well, online is one thing. So now first you didn't want John to watch her social media. But now he needs to get his information from online? Make up your mind. Lindsay, get it together. Make up your mind, Lindsay. What do you want him to do? You want him to watch or you don't want him to watch? Let me read again. Sorry. Got upset. Brianna has been very vocal online about her intentions to remain living in LA, which is where she has now lived for the past 8 years since turning 18. This demand is really not asking for documents, but disclosure of Brianna's residency plans, which isn't appropriate for an RPD, but for a special ROG. You allege these documents are relevant to the move away issue, but it's John seeking to make W a resident of Texas, but Brianna seeking to move anywhere with W. You also claim these documents are relevant to the paternity case without further explanation, and again, it's your client seeking the move away order, not mine. Number 10, correspondence RAW and or John with third parties. No supplemental response will be provided. We stand on our objection to this one. John has absolutely no right to Brianna's private communication with third parties. None of these people are parties to this case, so they also have their own even stronger privacy rights. You also generically ask for correspondence and documents without defining a single subject area of conversation you were expecting to get. Thus, full compliance with this demand would include text between Brianna and her DoorDash driver about necessities, delivery to the Airbnb for W, just as one example for a laundry list of communications that would be wholly relevant to these proceedings. The same would be extremely intrusive into Brianna's life. Remember, if you're going to assert positions as outrageous as those stated in your letter about this demand, you're applying those positions to both parties. Would John turn over all of his communications with his mom, his friend, his girlfriends about Brianna? Would John agree that how he communicates with those third parties as a bearing on his co-parenting relationship with Brianna? I think we both know the answer to these questions from your client would be a hard no. Okay. I do have something to say about this. Shocking, I know. I agree and disagree in some parts. Listen, you guys. I'm always going to be very, very honest, right? A lot of people think I'm one sided. Yes, this is new, Kathy. This just came out yesterday. I do agree to the fact that the way that it was worded was very vague. I said that when I did my initial video. That's very vague. Asking for all communication to anybody. You know, it was very, very vague. I wish that she would have narrowed it down, because I was like, how is she supposed to provide this, one, and how are they supposed to verify that she provided everything? So it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I get what Taylor was asking for, what John's attorney was asking for, but they should have really narrowed it down, because I do agree it was just a very broad statement, right? Because the original request, I can't remember the exact words, but basically was requesting any and all documentation of communication with third parties that pertain to W, or visitation, custody, anything about W, I think, from his birth to current. I mean, that's very vague, and that's a lot of stuff. So I get what she's saying in that part. But on the other part, does he have a right to request? I guess that's up for debate. He has full custody. Again, Brianna has no custody. Pup Mom said, I tapped myself right out. Stretch out your fingers. Oh my God, you guys are about to 250 likes. You guys are amazing. I just think that they should have narrowed it down, right? It should have been probably narrowed down to with Santos if that was their request. I don't know. Okay. Request number 11. Impediments to ability to travel. This was due to her stating that she wasn't going to be able to travel because of her pregnancy. Mind you, this was done a long time ago. She said she was pregnant. She wasn't going to be able to travel because she's supposed to be 7 months pregnant right now. Well, we know she's now barely pregnant. No supplemental response will be provided, as mentioned under RPD 3 above. It's no secret what the difficulties are and will be for travel to/from Texas, as Brianna testified to the topic at the DVR trial. Traveling while pregnant is difficult, and having to pay for flight, a hotel, or Airbnb, food, ride shares, and all of W's necessities that must be bought each time she is in Texas is expensive. John has zero rights to Brianna's medical records about her pregnancy, and none will be provided. He wasn't asking for that. Number 12, this is the last one, thank God. Travel within Texas. No supplemental response will be provided. We stand by our objection on this one. John has absolutely no right to Brianna's private communication with third parties. None of these people are parties to this case, and they also have their own even stronger privacy rights. Furthermore, Brianna dropped her Thanksgiving idea at her mom's house in Corpus Christi after you and John refused to consider the idea and had her family come visit her and W in the Airbnb instead, making any correspondence about the plan completely mute. There have been no discussions between the parties or council about any Christmas plans outside of Dallas County because there aren't any. The parties agreed on 9/2/25 to the dates of 12/22 to 12/28. You argued that a child's relationship with the community and her friends or family members is part of the La Maguska analysis, but that topic isn't on the list of factors in Maguska. John made sure Brianna didn't have the opportunity to bring W to her family's house in the base Corpus Christi, so they came to her. Family time is still bonding time regardless of location. If you proceed, and she has in all reds and underlined, if you proceed with filing a motion to compel further response with requesting at least $10,000 in sanction pursuant to blah, blah, blah. Sincerely, Lindsay. Now, I think I may be off base here. I think the requests that they're talking about are when they're talking about the family and friends bond and the child having a bond, because remember, the list of demands was all based off of her having visitation in California. So they're talking, thank you, Ashley. They're talking about her family was there, her Ruby was there, you know what I'm saying, that there was people there, that they were bonding and whatnot, but that was in Texas. When she's in California, who's there? She doesn't, what the hell? She doesn't have that same family and the same friend support, whatnot, in California that she has. Right. So, that's, okay, what page are we on? That one's not showing me. Oh, there. Okay, we're on page 40 of 51. I was gonna take a break and go make dinner, but I'm just gonna push through and get out these last 11 pages. Then I'll take a break, make dinner, and then I'll probably come back. Yeah, both Santos and his family is all in Texas. So what happens when this new baby comes, right? When the new baby comes, are they not taking the baby to Texas to go see his family? His family doesn't get to see this child either? I'm confused. They're all going to have to come to... It's the whole thing. It's crazy to me. Okay, so... Let me go down and make sure. Okay. Oh, God. Let me turn my request off. Hold on. Turn off. Sorry, I'm having to go to the bottom of the email chain so I can work my way up. Okay. Who's this from? Okay. Good morning, y'all. We are in receipt of your meet and confer letter on Miss Olson's response to demand for production of documents. Our office will be closed next week for the holidays and therefore will not be able to comply with the request deadline. Therefore, are requesting an extension from your Wednesday 11/26 deadline to Monday 12/8. Additionally, Miss Olson will be traveling for the holidays to see W during Thanksgiving week and will not be readily available to complete this request while she is out of town for her set visit. Okay, Taylor says, hi, confirming my phone call. Wait, hold on, let me check the dates. November 21st. 9:42. Okay, I just want to make sure I was going the right way. Yes. Hi, confirming my phone call with Kristen a moment ago. We are in agreement with the extension, the supplemental response deadline from November 26th through December 8th, and my motion to compel deadline to the extent applicable, given that the original response consistent solely of objections and are not verified. will be afforded a reciprocal extension of time. So they just agreed to the extension. I don't know why they need an extension. They didn't turn anything in. They still haven't turned anything in. Received and confirmed. Just letting know. Okay, got it. Council attaches our formal response to your 11/19 meeting for letter Ari Brianna's response to John's RPD and a copy of Brianna's last lease that just expired a few weeks ago. Oh, Jesus. This is long. I knew it. Okay. It'll be up on YT. Don't worry, love. This is from Taylor. Hi, Lindsay. We will be filing a motion to compel, as it is clear from your letter, your client is not willing to provide any verified substantive response. Correct me if I'm wrong. You seem to be fixated on the fact that you and I exchanged emails on the same day as we profoundly discover. Sorry. You seem to be fixated on the fact that you and I exchanged emails on the same day as we profounded discovery. The discovery profounded is related to the issues in this parentage case generally. Which I remind you is still prejudgment, so all issues, custody, visitation, child support, attorney fees, remained ripe for discovery. The fact that I asked for the voluntary production of certain documents in an email and you refuse to voluntarily provide them does not negate your client's obligation to respond in good faith to discovery. The demands are appropriate given all of the issues for which we do not yet have final orders in the parties' parentage case. Your perpetrated descriptions of some of this information related to the documents sought by the demands is not helpful. The information in your letters and your speaking objections set forth in the original responses does not resolve your client's obligation to respond under penalty and perjury. If documents do not exist, she can say as much in a verified response. If documents are too burdensome for her to gather, she can let us know where we can obtain them in a verified response. If documents exist, but she lost, misplaced, or destroyed them, and she could have said that in a verified response. As a reminder, CCP section 2017.010 provides, unless otherwise limited by order of the court in accordance with this title, any party may obtain discovery regarding any matter not privileged that is relevant to the subject matter involved in the pending action or to the determination of any motion made in that action. If the matter either itself admissible in evidence or appears reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence. Discovery may relate to the claim of defense of the party seeking discovery or of any other party to the action. Discovery may be obtained to the identity of location of person having knowledge of any discoverable matter, as well as the existence, description, nature, custody, condition, and location of any documents, electronically stored information, tangible things, or land or other property. Please refer also to the following relevant case law related to the expansive discovery rights of parties. And then it goes into state law. You guys know I'm never going to read the state law. It doesn't read the state law. It just gives you the codes for it. I am concerned that your client's refusal to provide verified substantive responses and produce documents is not made in good faith and is intended solely to obstruct my client's right to conduct discovery related to the issues in the case. You have completely ignored all of the demands. You are claiming that documents related to your client's relocation plans or where your client resides are not relevant to move away issues when one of the La Maguska factors is the distance between each party's residence. You are claiming that documents evidencing your client's travel and ability to travel is not discoverable. When the court is going to be tasked with establishing a final parenting plan pursuant to which the parties and their child are going to be required to travel or arrange for someone else to travel for exchanges. You are claiming your client doesn't need to disclose law enforcement records, which would include those related to domestic violence incidences between her and her current live-in boyfriend. She added the live-in. As though Family Code Section 3044 does not exist, my initial meet and confer letter set forth these issues more thoroughly. This is my last attempt to resolve these issues before filing my motion to compel. I plan to file first thing Friday morning, 12/12. Okay, hold on. This was done. She sent this email on 12/10. So that gave her 2 days. Remember how Bree said that she specifically or intentionally put it out right before her gender reveal? It had nothing to do with that. She gave you time. Okay. Now let me read Taylor's long response. I'm getting so tired of reading this stuff. It's driving me crazy. Hi, Taylor. Our position, as stated on the 12/8 letter, remains firm and unchanged. If you proceed with filing a frivolous discovery RFO, we're seeking a minimum of $10,000 in fees and sanctions. Yes, we still believe these discovery demands were served for the improper purpose of harassment and increasing litigation cost. Why would he want to do that? Why would anyone want to increase litigation costs? It goes both ways. You demand information you're not entitled via email. Refuse to explain where the non-existent order was there was the last page of the DV-130, which you claim to be referencing in support of your demand for the information sought. Said you were seeking the information out of concern of your own professional liability to your client. All this is done. And then you serve discovery seeking the same information you just demanded an hour early. How you can't see that this sequence of events looks like retaliatory discovery being served for improper purposes because you didn't get what you wanted via email, I truly can't understand. Both of our clients have some exception of privacy in their personal lives as to each other, regardless of the fact that they're co-parents, and especially because this isn't a divorce case. Both of our clients get the ability to exercise their custodial time with W without interference by the other party too. Thus, it makes no difference if you demand information from this private realm via email or discovery. If the information is private, it's private, it's period private, or it's private period. What? It's private period. I'm too tired to even focus on this. This is crazy. This is ridiculous. I think she's not grasping the concept that John has full custody. Literally, Riley. We're there. Like, John has full custody. And that, you guys, that makes a difference. That 100% makes a difference. She talks in circles. It's draining. I don't know why you guys like to listen to this back. I irritate myself reading because it is so daunting reading this stuff. She talks in run-on sentences. She doesn't use punctuation properly. There's so much it's confusing. Anyways, as stated in her letter, you can't serve special rug disguised as RPD as you attempted to do. These types of RPDs aren't remotely compliant with the CCP, and I'm confident the court will agree. If you want to ask her actual questions under penalty and perjury, oh, I would love that. Oh, I would love that. Serve special rug, or notice a deposition, and stop wasting everybody's time and money with this frivolous set of discovery we're continuing to talk in circles about. Right. You are not going to get written responses to RPDs that answer the questions you're trying to ask, as the CCP requires very particular language in written response, none of which answers questions like, name all third parties you've had at your Airbnb while W was there between X and X. I gave you a copy of Brianna's latest lease. You could see whose name was on it. Brianna. Just because Brianna's the only name on the lease doesn't mean that's who's living there. She just said in the last response, Brianna has gone on live several times and said she plans to live in California or in Los Angeles, whatever it was she said. So if you were able to, Lindsay, come here, come to the front, come on. If you were able to get that from being online, Lindsay, then if you also went online, you would also be able to see that Santos lives there as well, right? Just because his name's on the lease, right? Listen, Linda, just because his name's on the lease does not mean that he doesn't live there. He's there. He lives there. Okay? Oh, Jesus. Maybe I should have taken a break before reading these last 11 pages because this is stressing me out. They should have put to rest the court of public opinions John's theory that Santos was ever on that lease. It doesn't matter if he's on the lease. He lives there. Lindsay, I'm getting hangry. I need to eat. If you don't believe the documents speak for itself, they don't. Lindsay, they don't speak for themselves. You've got to be shitting me right now. She can't be serious. Thank you, Melanie. How do you say in the statement above that she says herself, if you go online, she says herself she's going to stay in LA. But that's her place. I'm going to get through this so we can be done and hang out. Thank you so much, Melanie. Let me see. That Santos was ever on that lease. If you don't believe the documents speak for itself, you have the landlord's full name from the lease, who are certainly welcome to subpoena to confirm the same information. The final paragraph of your email seems to imply you guys believe Brianna has some secret plan to move out of the country or something. Now, I'm not saying that they... Hold on. No, I'm not saying that they do. I actually didn't get that from her last sentence. However, since you want to take this back online, let's take it online, bitch. Let's take it online, because what did they say? That she was going to get baby W and move to Mexico. She said that. That Brie words, not mine. Brie said online, the minute I get a chance, what I'll do, I'll just pick baby W up and we'll move to Mexico. We'll live with Santos' family in Mexico. That's what she said. What do you mean? Since we're going to get all of our information online, then get it online. Go look at all of it, Lindsay, not just one section, okay? Angry. Okay, let me read that again. Sorry. The final paragraph of your email seems to imply you guys believe Brianna has some secret plan to move out of the country or something, despite her being very public about being in LA, being a long-term LA resident who plans to remain in LA despite her co-parent living in Texas. It's unclear why you're trying to create complexities and drama that simply don't exist nor have ever existed. Neither is your brain cells. You saw Brianna's lease ended less than a month ago. You know, Brianna was in Texas visiting W days after the lease end date. You can see on social media she's now abroad traveling, but you can't see on social media, Lindsay, what your client's doing. You need to go on social media and look at what your client's doing. This lady, she's off her damn rocker. The discovery responses we're discussing were due nearly 2 months before Brianna's lease ever ended. Yes, we stand firm in Brianna's medical privacy rights and not providing John documents about her pregnancy. I don't think they requested that. I will go back and check, and I don't believe he requested anything in regards to her pregnancy. He regarded information in regards to if she was going to safely be able to travel with his son. That's what he said. Doodling is better. I like it. I'll do my new word. We all know that's what you're alluding to, ability to travel. And we also, okay, so you get to make up what she's full or hello. You get to make up what she's requesting, but she doesn't. Okay. And we also know that both parties have a huge expectation of privacy into their medical records. There is zero nexus between Brianna's travel bookings you demanded in September via email, then subsequently in this set of discovery and her pregnancy. Brianna is fine discussing her pregnancy with the court in chambers, so these details don't become part of a transcript and plastered all over the internet. Who would do that? But that will be the extent of sharing anything about it with John. She began receiving daily death threats after announcing her pregnancy and posting things online, going to bleeding, blah blah. Let me be very clear about this, just so. Oh, okay, that was it. Okay, if anything ever does come out, if it ever is addressed in court, if it is ever any information in regards to her pregnancy comes out and it is on a transcript, I will not be providing said information. I will skip right over that. I fully believe that she does have a right to privacy in that. I think that to us, right? Whatever happens in court happens to court. I don't want you guys come back and be like, why do you provide all this information, but you won't provide that? Just like I don't like to speak on her pregnancy. Every single time I am asked about her pregnancy, I don't know. I don't like to speak on pregnancy. I don't know. Could she be? Yeah, because we know they're doing the do. That's how you get pregnant, right? I don't know. But I will not read any information. If a transcript comes out and it says anything about pregnancy, I will not be reading it. So I just I'm putting that out there. Okay. Okay, so that was the end of that. Let's go to the next exhibit. We're almost done, guys. Yeah. And I know a lot. Listen, you guys will still get that information. Everybody else will put it out. I just have different standards, and I truly, truly choose that is not something that I'm going to discuss. You guys will be able to get that information. A lot of other TVs will put it out. I'm not doing it. Okay, G. Transcription of petitioner's social media posting. Oh, this is all the stuff that I just read. Oh, this is the 12/27 one. Oh, wait, let me see. This is all the stuff they typed up before, which I don't really want to read. Alex, let's go. Man, fuck that bitch. Yes, sir. You got me muted. Yeah. And that's the end of it. Thank you. Yeah, if court docs come out, you guys, I will definitely go over the court docs and I will definitely read them. But just like I never read over any of Baby W's information. I will never do that. I never read over dates that she has them. Even though they're all her addresses were listed in here, I didn't read over those addresses, even though she doesn't live there anymore. There's certain things that I just won't put out. I don't do this for clicks, views, my whatever the case may be, right? I do this because a lot of misinformation gets put out, and I want to clear up the misinformation and put out correct information that is right from court docs, how it's put out. But I'm not putting up any information. I just wouldn't. No, it is a holiday, guys, so his isn't going to come out. And this is her response. His demands went out a long time ago. I have all of the demands on my page already. I already did a video to that. Yeah, I don't have. I give it. I'm a straight shooter, guys. I'm just gonna give you straight information. I do not like to talk about pregnancies. I don't like how these girls come on here and think pregnancies are a joke, and I get pregnant and it's by this person, and I'm just gonna get an AB and I'm gonna do all this, or I had a miscarriage. I don't like all that. There is a lot of women that are suffering from, having difficulty getting pregnant or being able to carry kids. There's just certain things I just choose not to discuss. And so that information you will not get from me. But I will provide you guys with correct information about what statement, Shelley? No, I haven't. I'm going to get off here, though, in just a little bit and eat, and then I will. This was Bree's response here to his demands. I'll do new videos, you guys, where I'll put his demand up, her response. It really isn't any different than what I have up, though. Oh, people are anything in regards to a pride. Stacy! Oh my god, that's so cute. Thank you, Kimber. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Pacific Standard. So it's 5:12 for me. But anyways, people are they were asking in this part about she doesn't want to discuss her pregnancy. If she does, it'll be in chambers. Because she doesn't want it to come out. And so I was just, on a transcript and it'd be flashed all over. And I said that even if it does, I will not be reading it. Yeah. Keeping that's not my business. That's not any of our business, right? Listen. If she's pregnant, let her be pregnant and let her. Hold on, let me get your whole name. Parody Angel, thank you so much. You guys, I love every single gift I get, but anytime someone sends their very first gift on TikTok to me, it always means something special. No, the judge cannot suggest she move to Texas. No. The judge can say, if you want to, all visitation is going to be in Texas, you can choose to go or not go, but the judge cannot tell her where to live. She can say, well, if you were closer to Texas, you could have, you could have this, or this, but she cannot force her to go. Again, thank you, Amy. Again, what happened? Thank you guys so much. You guys have been so good to me. Now, I've said this a million times. I don't understand why the judge said, oh, it'll be better for Brianna to have the 7 days together, because that's not what's best for Baby W. Any family court order needs to be what is best for the child, not for either parent. What would be best for for Baby W, thank you, love, would be her seeing the child every other weekend, right? Baby W going 3 weeks without seeing her, and then 1 week, even more importantly, 1 week without dad and grandma, is a detriment to Baby W. At the age that he is, 3 weeks is long enough to not really know what the hell is going on. And then she has a visitation every time in a different location. So there's no consistency. There's no normal for Baby W when he has visits with his mom. Not that Brianna has also, listen, since Lindsay wants to take his social media, watch the social media. You'll see in the beginning parts of the visits, Baby W is not feeling her at all. And she's like all over him. And then at the end, Baby W is kind of like on her, and she is over it. She has said many times, oh my God, he will not get off me. He will not. I hate to be touched. I don't want to be touched. And you know what I'm saying? So she really does need to have visits every other weekend. That is enough time for him to, and have the same place. have the exact same place every single time. Whether she rents the same Airbnb every time and just books it out long term, or thank you, love, or rents an apartment, keep saying it, right? So that the baby has the same normalcy every single time. That's what's important. Thank you, Michelle. But but no, the judge cannot force her to move to Texas. She just won't have as much visitation or won't have any visitation. I agree. Jen, at this point, especially with baby W. Now, who knows? That could change with this. If she's pregnant, that could change with this baby. She may be a great mother with the next baby, but she has zero desire at this point that she's shown to be a baby W. You guys notice how happy she is? Like the 3 weeks that she's gone, she seems to just be like just out in her own world, right? But that week that she's with baby W, she just seems so miserable. And she said it herself, this is so boring. Who would want to do this all of the time? Like, this is the most boring stage. Like, I can't wait for him to be 18 and 21 so we can go out and party and drink. Well, you're not supposed to want to have kids to be able to go party and drink. Almost at 400K. Oh, we're going to get there. 400K. You guys are freaking amazing. You guys have been spoiling me. It literally. We did it. You guys are amazing. You guys held solid at over 1,000 people this entire live, 400,000 likes. Don't forget, tomorrow is my live anniversary. I love you guys more. It is our live anniversary, you guys. Tomorrow at 6:30. That is it's a scheduled thing, so if you guys want to register, that way you'll get your notification if you register. We're gonna celebrate us being live together for a whole year. So yes, I love you guys too. You guys, this was Bree's response to 2K. 2K's response came out a long time ago. Those are all up on my page. Let me see here. Yeah, I don't read comments when I'm reading, sorry. It should be up right after this. It takes a little while to upload. It just got done uploading. I uploaded it last night and somehow it got paused. So it finished uploading. It should be done now that I've been live this long. So I will start the upload process over to YT. So give it like an hour maybe. So, and also turn on my notifications to YT so that way you'll know right when it's uploaded. He probably is nodding out. Do you guys want to know why? Shelbs sent me a message and said Shelbs was on until 7:30 in the morning his time, right? So that's like 5:30 my time. Santos was on there the entire time. He was in my live starting at 7 p.m. Santos is in the same time zone as me. 7 p.m. my time. He was in my live. Then he was in Shelby's until 5:30 this morning. That's crazy. And you guys, I don't even see all the messages, especially when there's this many people in here. It's near impossible for me to see this many messages. You guys have screenshotted and sent me all of the different threats that came to me. Tread lightly, sir. Okay. He sure ran when I said, oh, I hear my kids coming, keep threatening because my son's coming up here. Santos was gone over in Shelby's. Stop it. Yeah, I think the one that I saw that was sent to me the most was when I was saying Happy New Year to somebody in a different time zone. And I was talking about New Year's or whatever. And he's like, if you can make it that long, what are you trying to imply? How would I not make it? What's going to happen? Oh, of course. If he needs them. But it's, it's one of those things. He's not part of the case. Oh, hold on. What there really is I can do. Hey, Principal.
Hi. I see a lot of people talking about the notifications. One thing that I did discover, guys, if you're coming on TikTok and you go into your settings, completely reset them. Reset Angie's individual account. go into TikTok, reset that, but then go into your phone's actual settings and adjust your notifications in there. If you're not getting the notifications, that's what I had to do because I was getting aggravated for not getting the notifications. And it is because the notification tab in my phone was actually turned off. So if you guys try that, it might help you.
So smart. See, I would never know that. I never would have known.
Hmm.
I would have just been sitting and be like, I don't know. Just keep checking. I don't know. I try to remember to put it in my little thought box. Not in my thought box again. Jesus Christ. What is that? We need to come up with a better name. What is that little thing up there? Because when I say thought box, y'all go crazy thinking I'm talking about something else. But you know, the little
It's a thought box, not a
bubble, thought bubble. The thought bubble, that's better.
not a THOT box.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the way I say it. It comes out as like, oh, crazy. Dude, I don't even know how to do a story. Someone else was telling me that yesterday on to check Tea Junkie's story. I'm like, wait, how do you even make a story? I don't even know how to do that.
I think when you make a video, you have it comes up with the option to post a story or your page.
It's a bit excessive for me. I just push the button and I just go, just talk and then post. That's as far as I go. It's a key
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say because I saw like 4 or 5 people mention it, and I'm like, it's just so much easier because the chat's going pretty fast to just pop in and let everybody
Yeah.
know to click there.
No, I absolutely appreciate it though because yeah, I get it every day. People always ask me. I'm like, I don't know. I did find out by doing. Oh my god, 635 daily arteries too. You guys are freaking amazing. I did find out that you can do it when I was in Shelby's and I'd do the daily heart me and I would do the comment and I didn't realize you go back up and get points whatever. And then it came up to give me notifications, and so I did that. So I do get notified, and my notifications for TikTok are off. If my notifications were off, my phone would listen.
Yeah, that was me. I turned mine off a long time ago because when I was doing like the mental health Mondays and stuff,
Yeah.
literally we would be online for like 20 hours a day. And you know,
20 hours a day.
noticed that little bit of sleep that I did get, and my phone would constantly blow up and ring. That's the reason why I ended up having 2 different phones. So,
You got 2 phones. Okay,
yep.
I get it. Let me see. You do get notified? Oh, that's good. Yeah, some people do, and a lot of people, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah. So, that's all I wanted to come up and say. So hopefully
Thank
it
you,
helps
love.
people figure it out.
I
You're
so
welcome. I'm
appreciate that.
tired.
Yeah, I'm going to. I bet you are tired. Yeah, you had the party
Listen,
there last night.
Walmart, I went there to get like the kids, the noisemakers, and the hats and stuff.
Mhm.
And they had these little teeny tiny disco ball confetti cannons.
Ooh, fun.
They're like the size of a softball. I
Mhm.
was like, oh, I'll just get 2 of them. I think they was like $3, $3.25, something like that. I'm like, I'll get a couple. We'll see what happens. Those things, if everybody run to Walmart, and if those things are going out on clearance, go buy them.
Oh, really?
The
They're
entire
good?
room upstairs was completely gold, black, silver, like round polka dot confetti things everywhere. And that room up there is probably 14 feet long. It was
So
on the
you
wall.
want us to fuck up our rooms? I would be. You know how irritated I would be to have that shit all over my house.
Yes. It makes
Outside, maybe. Yeah, no thanks. Outside, absolutely. I'll do it outside, but even then, I'm cleaning up immediately.
it's not glitter. It's like
Confetti, little pieces of paper all over. Yeah, no, I'm good. That would my anxiety would be through the roof. Like, do you know how much anxiety I had from watching Ruby and Grams do the poppers outside of the courthouse? All I could think about is who's cleaning that up.
nah.
And that's on a LA city sidewalk, right? In the house, my anxiety. I want to catch a flight immediately and come clean your room right now.
I already got it.
Okay, well that's good. Then I don't have to catch a flight.
Yeah, I did it. Well, you can catch a flight. No, I didn't get it. I mean, I need help.
Look, you guys, we hit the 92,000 last night. Remember, I said I wanted to hit 92K by the end of the year. We did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, now we're at 92.1. Look at us. Okay, guys. I love you
Okay,
guys. You guys are the
Rowan.
best.
Growing and showing.
I know. Crazy.
Okay,
Well,
guys.
I think I'm gonna be
down.
back on. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be back on later. I'm gonna make some dinner because I haven't eaten yet today. I was so last night. Listen, it was so much fun at the end of the night last night. All my my kids that were over here soon. Yeah, we're on a road to 100K. My kids and my grandkids came in last night. It was so much fun, and then we were just hanging. Oh, there she goes. She's gone. It was just so much fun, and then let me see if I can get it. I have to show you guys this. For those of you guys that don't wait. What's happening? I know you did, but then I just got sidetracked and there you were gone. Here we go. I gotta show you this. For those of you guys that don't get a chance to see the kids that often, or my grandkids, Jordy, the youngest one, listen, she thinks she is the queen of the sock gang. I tell you. And my loud ass family coming in. That's Braylon. That's Jordan, the baby. Literally, it just cracked me up watching this back. I was like, she is just. Dude, you didn't tell me that was for Lisa. The crock pot. Happy New Year, you guys. We're still live. Yes. And it was over 1,000. Look at my likes I have. 500,000 likes. Say hi, Sock Gang. Oh, take your best friend out. Say hi, Sock Gang. Watch her. She's so funny. You gotta take your best friend out. There you go. Say hi, Sock Gang. Oh, yeah, Grandma. You gotta come this way. Braylon's like, I'm out of here. I'm not down. Say hi, Sock Gang. What's everyone's New Year's resolution? There you go. Hi, Sock Gang. Hi, Sock Gang. Jordy knows it's Sock Gang. She's so funny. Braylon's like, I want to get down. Oh, shit. Happy New Year. A lot this year? Uh-huh. Listen. It's a Mother's Day. Right. What are we talking about here? Whose case are we talking about? Yeah, we're talking about Brie and Santos. Santos has been here. Oh, what? Santos has been here this whole time threatening me. Now this is my grandbaby that is. Oh, I jump here. This is my grandbaby that is a month and a couple days younger than Baby W. That's why I said. Now listen, she says she can speak fairly clearly, but it's words, right? She says words. She's not saying, "Listen, my grandma's never changed my diaper and locks me in a room all day and I'm crying." She's not saying that. They're literally like 34 days apart. Okay. Anyways, yeah. Listen, Jordy thinks she is the queen of Sock Gang, and she is. She has the title. I will give her the crown. Okay. She's adorable. Yeah, that made my night. But anyways, afterwards I got up and I'm like, why am I so like lightheaded? I did not eat nothing last night. I didn't realize I was on live for over 6 hours. Okay. So I ended up eating at like 1:30 in the morning. So anyways, I'm gonna hop off live. Right, she gets the crown. Okay, she is the crown. She hi dog gang. Oh my god. So I'm going to hop off. I'm gonna go eat, and then I may be back on later tonight. Do you want me to put it in my thought box? Nothing else goes in there, so I might as well put a thought in there, okay? I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. This has been absolutely amazing. And we'll continue on. If you have not registered for tomorrow's event, make sure that you guys register for that because that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for tomorrow, our 1-year live anniversary. So love you guys. Have a good day. I will see you guys later.